Sunny, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Oh man, I have hidden you, my friend. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to show you. There we go.
How's it going, guys? My name's Sunny. I'm a React developer, and I'm pumped for today. Let's go,
Damn.
Kazi.
Yeah, this is gonna be awesome, guys. We are hoping that we are perfectly live everywhere, but this is going to be us building a to-do app with React and Firebase from scratch. We're gonna be doing it live. This is going to be completely beginner friendly. So if this is your first time learning about React or Firebase or whatever, you are fine. If you're more intermediate or advanced and you want to learn Firebase and React, you're also in the right place. We got 92 concurrent viewers right now. Damn, nice.
Yo, nice.
120. Let's go.
Let's
You should
go.
actually
Holy crap.
tell Jacob to send viewers too.
He did. He sent the messenger out. Nice.
Awesome. So we're up to 160. Guys, this is amazing. Once we get started, we're just going to straight up keep going until it's completely built and live. So what I will tell you to do is in the meantime, we're just going to wait a little bit to make sure everybody's here and live. And then it's up to you whether you want to build this app live with us or you want to just sit here and watch it.
That's right.
Nice. Okay. So we are live on all platforms. That is sick. Let's see if we can maybe we can show some of these people's
The messages. Let's go.
yeah. Awesome guys. How is everybody doing here? Oh, nice. Kiska is on here.
We
Awesome.
got Abdullah. What's up, Abdullah?
Miro says,
How's it
"Let's
going?
go." Awesome. Abdullah is here. Says, "Hey."
Amanath. What's up, dude? Nice.
Yeah. Oh, you can see my screen, right, Sunny?
Yeah, I can see your screen. I've got the comments up as well, so we can see. Nice.
Nice. Christabel says, "Best teacher, sick." Okay,
Awesome.
guys. Oh, you guys can hear that. You can't hear that little click sound, right? I turned it off, so I think we should be good to go. Awesome. Are you guys excited to get started on this project? Drop it in the comments below. Let us know.
Damn, dude. Everyone's flooding in. How many people are we at now?
We are at 264.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
This is sick. All right, guys. We're just going to get started and jump into it. What do you say, son? You want to get started?
Dude, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to get off of, go back into Visual Studio Code. Yup, live on all platforms.
Awesome.
Dope. Okay. And here we go. Sharing the screen now and popping up the picture in picture. Give me 1 second, Sunny. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to make sure that we have we're properly nice and zoomed in.
Awesome.
Okay, right there. Okay. All right, guys. Just want to make sure that this is as smooth of an experience for all of you guys as possible. This is our first time doing a joint live event like this, so just making sure
That's it.
everything
And if
runs
you
smooth.
guys enjoy this, we'll keep these things coming. So it'll be
Yeah.
awesome to do.
Yeah, really our goal is to be able to do it like every day, honestly. Like that's where we want to
Exactly.
get to.
That's
Okay,
it.
awesome. All right, Sunny, let's go. I think we're good.
Let's
Oh,
do it.
let me take away my text overlay, actually. I'm going to just hide it for now. Yep.
Nice.
So, give me...
Dope.
Is it still hiding some of the screen? You see what I'm saying?
Let me have a look. So it's hiding a little, it's cropping a tiny bit of the window right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand, like why it's doing that. Because
So
now
if you
now
go
it's good, I
back
think, right?
in, oh, we're good actually. We're good.
Now we're
We're
good.
good, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We'll also zoom this in a little bit more so it's easier for everybody to see. Is this good for you guys to see? All right, I think we're good to go. Let's just go.
Let's do it. So, Kazi, let's tell everyone what we're building today.
We're gonna be building a to-do list app with React and Firebase. This is actually something I'm really excited about because you have been teaching a bunch of React recently. And
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like super pumped about it because React is just so fast. And also Firebase excites me much more than freaking Amazon AWS because that just looks
Yeah.
ugly. And so I really want to learn how to use Firestore database on Firebase and React. So I'll ask you questions kind of along the way.
Awesome. Let's do it. So for those of you who don't know what React is, it's pretty much it's a library and it just wraps the web development languages. So web development is just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. React is like it's a library that Facebook built, and it's widely used. It's very popular and it's super powerful. And you're going to see that today. And we're going to combine that with something that Google built, which is called Firebase. And that's going to allow us to have a complete, fully fledged app that we're going to deploy, and every single one of you guys can hop onto and play around with. Awesome. That's right. And guys, if you're wondering how we're doing this right now, this is called VS Code Live Share. So right now, me and Kazi can both code in real time on the same terminal, on the same coding platform, which is insane. And it's going to give you guys a really cool experience. And we can show you how to do this if we get enough time at the end as well.
We're even sharing the same terminal and the same local host.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. So how do you want to begin?
Okay, so let's get started. So now where should we start? What's the first best place to start? Should we set up our Firebase? Or should we just set up our front end first and then set up our Firebase? What would you recommend?
So the first thing that I usually do whenever we start a React project is pretty much use something called Create React App. And what that is basically Facebook built this starter package, which all you need to do is run one command in the terminal, and that's going to start everything up for you and give you a starter template. So the way we're going to do that is if you just go into your terminal now.
Yep.
Yep, and let's type in npx space create React app with dashes between them. Yep. And what should we call our app?
Okay, can we just put it here?
No, so you actually just put the name here.
Okay.
So here you just put to-do app. So we could call this one Firebase to-do app or something like that.
The only reason I was saying that is because the folder is already called.
Right, so we're inside of React to-do right now. Yeah, no, we're good here. If we just don't have a space. So yeah, React to-do app.
Cool. So like this, or do you want me to still write the next thing?
Yeah, so I want you to put the name next to it like this. So we'll have something like this. So to-do app.
Got it.
That's what we typically do. Yeah. Cool. So guys, npx is something called node package executor. And it's just going to basically go and find this package, the one that Facebook created called Create React App. And then if Kazi just hits enter on the keyboard, and what this is going to do now is inside of this folder, it's going to set up everything that we need to get our first React project started, which is a really, really handy thing. It installs all of the packages that we need to get started with it. It actually gives us a really nice starting template. And then from there, we can start coding. For many of you guys that don't know what React is or have never used it before, it was really, really cool to go and look at something called component-based design. And that's something which we're going to show you today. And I think everyone's going to enjoy that because it's really, really powerful. And it means that you only have to write a small amount of code to get a lot out of it. Yeah, so while that's starting up, Kazi, let's go ahead and set up Firebase.
Cool. I think I just zoomed in somehow again. So I'm going to have to zoom out and then zoom. Yep. Cool.
Dope.
All right. So I'm on firebase.com.
Yeah. So what you want to do now is, I think I can see the overlays on the screen right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
to
So you want to just move those. It says camera effects and things like that. Okay. No, we're good. We're good. Yep. So if you go to console.
Yep. So those are going to show to us, Sunny, like we can see it, but like nobody can actually see that.
Got you. Okay. Nice. So now what we need to do, guys, all you need to set up Firebase is completely free. So don't stress about having to put your credit card details in and everything like that. Firebase is a free service. You just need to have a Gmail account. Come over to where we are right now, and then you just want to click on Add Project.
Okay, dope. So I'm going to click this right here.
Yep. We're going to throw in a name for our project.
All right. What do you want to call it? We're going to call it TODO App CP.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Let's do that.
And enable Google Analytics for this project?
We can do. Yeah, let's leave it on.
Okay.
Nice. And you just want to select your default account. There we go.
Okay.
And just like that, it's going to start creating the project. And guys, Firebase is not just like a backend. So it's not just something like a database. It's like a suite of tools. So not only can you have a database where you can host your information, your user information, it handles things like authentication. You can deploy your website, and it's super easy to do that. And on top of that, you can do some crazy stuff like machine learning. It's really, really insane what you can do here. So let's just click on continue.
Okay.
Awesome. And now what
Even
we're going
by
to
the
do
way, Carlos
is
just said I'm stuck with Python. It's okay because even if you're using Python and you learn what we're about to do today, you can do the same exact setup. Well, actually, that's not true, right? You told me yesterday we were talking. You said you cannot use Firebase with Python, right?
I think you can actually use Firebase with Python. Yeah, you can. If you've got a Python app, so let's say you've got a Python app, which is a backend service,
yeah.
You can definitely connect to Firebase from that. Yep.
Oh, okay.
You can.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah. So, if you guys are using Python, you learn what we're doing today, you can actually combine Firebase and maybe even React with your Python apps and like just make them make the front end amazing and even the back end amazing.
Exactly.
Sayuri says, I enrolled into PWJ. Good vibes. Nice.
Awesome. Nice.
Okay, so what's next?
Right. So next, what we want to do is go over to that little cog icon on the top left. So the little settings icon. There we go. And then project settings.
Uh-huh.
And all we need here is we need like a key, right? Which is going to tell our app how to connect to Firebase. So right now, you see where it says at the bottom, it says there are no apps in your project.
Yep.
You want to click on the one which has a symbol for web dev. So it's the third one on the right.
This one?
So that's right. Yep. And then you want to give it a name here. This name doesn't matter too much. It can be anything you want.
And should I also set up Firebase hosting or just do registration?
Yes. Yeah, let's set up Firebase hosting. And that's really important because that's going to allow us to actually be able to deploy so that everyone can use this once we're done.
Okay. And
so then click on register app.
Great.
Yeah. And then that will set that up for us. And the next one, so this one we can actually ignore. So this is how you include all of the Firebase code into your project. But because we're using React uses something called node modules. So they're basically like prepackaged bundles of code, and we install them with something called npm. So we don't actually need to do this step, and I'll show you how we do that inside of our code afterwards. So we can click next on this step.
Got it.
So this one's important right now. So here what you want to do is you want to click the copy command. You want to open up your terminal. So you can either do this in VS Code or you can do it in a separate terminal. And what you're going to do is just paste that command and install that. And what this says is whenever you have npm install with that little -g, it means install this package across your entire computer. So it doesn't matter if we're inside of this project. It doesn't matter if we're inside of a different project. We're always going to have access to Firebase tools right now. Yep. And we need Firebase tools. Oh, okay. So in this case, you need to write sudo. Yeah, so you need to have sudo in the beginning because when you do things like this, you need admin privileges. Yeah.
Yep. And some people are asking, so Mark Johnson asks, how long is the PWJ course, and is this something I can do at my own pace and time? Mark, yes. So PWJ course, you can definitely do it at your own pace and time. Now we have turned it into a membership. So, as long as you're a member, you can just go at it at your own pace. And Ajay asked, is it React or React Native, Sunny?
So that's a really good question. It's React what we're doing now, but once you learn this, you can use React Native. So to tell you guys what the two are, React is for when you're doing web development. So any website is going to be using React if you're using the library. But if you want to then deploy, say, for example, to iOS or Android apps, then you would use something called React Native. But right now, we're just doing pure React.
Man, this thing keeps doing this weird zoom thing. Like it keeps messing up the zoom. And so maybe
oh yeah,
we just want to do
zoomed in.
show entire screen and then zoom in. And I think then this should be good to go. Now
So,
wherever I go, it should be good. Okay, awesome, great.
yeah, nice.
So we installed this. Let's go next.
Yeah, so we installed that, and
Now-
then next we need to actually log into our Firebase hosting. So
Okay.
let's go back to the command line. Let's do Firebase login,
Uh-huh.
and then let's type in Y.
Okay.
So that Y for yes. And then this will pop up a little window. Just need to sign into your account. So they actually take all the headache out of it. So this is literally as simple as it gets to set things up. And then you go. There you go. So we've logged into our account. We'll do the rest of the steps afterwards because this is going to be deploying the website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we can carry on with this once we've actually got the site built.
Got it.
So let's click continue to console.
Great.
So here's the magic. So you see where it says Firebase SDK snippet. We want to click on config.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And this object is basically the magic which connects our React app to our Firebase backend. So this is going to be crucial right now for this config. And what we want to do now is now that we have access to this, we can actually go back to the app and then we can implement this afterwards. But we should have got everything set up. So let's go over to our folders right now.
Yep.
Yep. And in the command line, what we want to do is, because we ran create React app, we just want to we want to go into the folder that it created the project in. So if we type in ls in the terminal, we should be able to see there's an app. So you can see it says to do app. So if you just want to go inside of to do app.
Yep.
Nice. And then what you want to do is, guys, whenever you set up a React project, it's so easy to get it started. All you need to do is write npm start, and it will spin the app up. It will get everything running. So now let's start the app by running npm start.
Nice. We got 345 people live right now.
Awesome. That is insane. Nice. So yeah, a few people said, please zoom out a bit. Someone said, please zoom in a bit. I think what we'll do is we'll zoom in on the code because I think that it might be a little small, but we can double check that.
Yeah.
There you go. So this is the React template that we get started off with. So if you guys have made it to this point, awesome.
Okay. And by the way, yeah, they're asking, yeah, you can watch this later. It'll be recorded. We'll leave it up. So yeah, you can watch it live or record it. But I mean, we would want you to watch it live, and the reason is like you can actually like engage and ask questions, and we can answer those questions. So that's a huge plus. But if you have to go to sleep or whatever, and you have to wake up tomorrow and do it, that's fine too.
Yeah, exactly. So this will be up for you guys to go at your own pace with, and you can keep pausing the video and carry on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at the files. So if you go to the left where it says Open Editor.
Left.
So you see on the top left, yep, you want to click on that drop down. Actually, let's click on React Firebase To Do App.
Cool.
So, and then let's open up To Do App. So now this is our sort of folder structure. So we can delete index.js outside because that was something we made before. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is going to be all the code. So let's just set some base rules so that nobody breaks the project and just knows where to go from here. So never touch node modules is a safe way of thinking of it. The only way we're going to touch that is if we do commands in the terminal. But right now, the one that we're interested in is all of the things we're interested in is inside of source.
Okay.
So let's click into SRC. And what I like to do is we just saw that it created that app, right, with the spinning React logo.
Yep.
I like to clean things up so it becomes a fresh template. And what we do here is let's delete the test.js file.
So
because we're not going to be running any tests right now.
Okay.
So let's delete that. Let's delete the setup test.js file. Yep. Let's delete the logo.svg, which is that little React logo.
Oh man, I love that logo. Okay.
We can keep it if you want. And then let's go to app.js.
Oh, okay. Not deleting that one, right?
No, we're not deleting that. And then what you want to do now is because we've deleted the app, we need to basically, what I do is I get rid of everything inside of the div. So everything inside of the outside div, let's just get rid of that. Yeah. And then I'll put a H1 tag and I'll just say hello world. So hello world. And then you see it on line 2. We need to get rid of that because we deleted the logo file. Awesome.
All right, what?
And on line 2 now, you see in the terminal it says no such file logo.svg.
Yep.
So we have to get rid of that. Yeah. And there we go. So right now we have a
Nice.
warning, but let's ignore that for now. It's because we're using an emoji. But there we go. That's our starting point for the app. I usually clear the CSS files as well, but we can do that afterwards. Because right now it keeps everything centered, which is easier to see. Okay, dope. So let's get started on actually building the To-Do app.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Give me one sec. Let's go to app.js. Okay. So what we need is a few things. And what I like to do here is I just like to sort of frame the app first. So we have a rough outline of what the app looks like and what it's going to do. And then we're basically going to power it up with Firebase and make it super powerful. So the first thing we're going to do is add an input field. So we want to have an input field. So let's do this. An input field is self-closing. So let's do it like this. So you have an input field. And the second thing we're going to have is a button. And that button is going to be simple. It's just going to say something like add to do, right? And now if we check our app, so let's have a look at the app. We can now see if we refresh,
I'm refreshing.
should come up.
No buttons on here.
No? Okay, let's go
Did you
to
save?
app.css.
Maybe you didn't save. Now it's here.
Oh, there we go. Nice, there we go. Yeah, so now we have like a little
Damn,
frame
it's not
for our
working.
app,
It's
right?
broken.
It's centered.
It's broken.
God
Alright.
damn it.
All right, here we go.
So now what we want to do is we want to basically make this. So we've got the UI at a very basic level done, right? Let's see, Kazi, do you want to make this look really pretty with Material UI first, or should we get it functionally working?
Let me actually think. Let's add basic functionality to it because that's what I like to do. Sometimes I'll add in, like right now I'm just telling you what my gut feels, and at this exact moment I would be just looking to add in, like literally if I can just create a UL or those LI, like a regular bullet point list to show up, then I would want to switch it over to Material UI.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, let's just start with that. So then the first thing we need to do is we need to understand. So what we kind of want to do is let's just do another baseline for the app. So we're going to have let's say a unordered list. And then inside that unordered list, we're going to have a bunch of list elements, right?
Yeah.
So this one could be like take dogs for a walk. And then we can have another one, which is going to be like take the rubbish out. Nice. And then if we save that and run that, so you have to save it on your machine, otherwise it won't take effect.
Okay, save. Got it.
Yeah, save, and let's have a look.
Okay, let me ask you, hold on. If I do this...
Yep. Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, that is interesting, because I'm on my Yeti, so I'm muting it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the mic is muted right now.
So probably you can hear me from Skype because it's probably picking up my computer sound, but like you probably cannot hear me on the live stream actually. So let me actually just take a look, and let me pop open the audio. No, not that one. That one.
Tell me. Oh. Yep. Yeah, so Sina Shorat says, Kazi, your voice is so low. So I think it is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's gone a bit low right now.
Yep. So this is a nice comment that Amanath put. Let's see if we can add it. It says the real power of the React.js is we can create a full stack application with just... Oh, I can actually move his comment up.
Nice.
With just React and Firebase without anything else like the backend and blah, blah, blah.
That's right.
That's awesome.
And guys, yeah.
I was just going to say, Sunny, is that because with Firebase, you just speak through API endpoints instead of like, either having a ORM or like SQL and stuff like that?
So Firebase, think of it this way. So like they took all of the complexity. So where we traditionally would need an API to talk from our front end to our back end,
Yeah.
they took all of that and they basically just made it so that all you need to do now is install a package, a node module package called Firebase into your project.
Yep.
And then you just import that. So you say import Firebase from Firebase in the top, and then you can actually just like communicate from the front end directly to the back end through your front end code, which usually wasn't the case before. You would have to do a request to the back end to push data in. You'd have to do a request to then refetch. But they've taken all of that complexity out. And on top of that, they made it real time. So you get real time information, which is insane.
It's all real time. Actually, I just got a great idea. So what I'm going to do is as you are speaking, I'm going to write out some of the stuff you're saying, and then we can actually just publish it as an article afterwards.
Nice. Yeah, let's do it. So how to create this app with Firebase. Awesome. So let's see. Everyone says, hey, Kazi. Hey, Sunny. Sam. What's up, Sam? Now the audio is good. Can you set the syntax to JavaScript React for JSS syntax on all completion? Yes, you can. Visual Studio Code is actually really clever at picking up what language you're doing. So usually when you do create React app, everything gets set up for you. So you don't have to worry about a lot of that.
Okay.
Nice.
Dope. So this is where we'll take notes as we go along so everybody can visually see the notes with us. I think this just makes it very easy for everybody.
This is awesome. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Nice.
My audio should be good to go now, I think. But okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is in that list, it would be really handy underneath of React to just do a little bullet point saying we used create React app, because that's the fundamental starting point to get the app running.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll add that into the list afterwards. Okay. So nice. Let's get started. So what we want now is we want it to be basically when we type in the input field and then we click the add to do button, we want it to push into that list, right?
Yep.
And the way we do that in React is React has two fundamentals that we just need to learn about. So one is called state and the other one is called props. We'll touch on props in a second, but state is really where the magic kind of happens. And when we say state, what we can think about is pretty much like a short-term memory. So if we refresh the page, the state is cleared. So it's non-persistent, which means that if we are going to click refresh, the state gets cleared. So you need to remember that. That's one of the important things. Somebody just said React hooks. Yes, React hooks is this new implementation in React where they're basically pushing for this very nice, concise code. So we will be using React hooks in this. So state gets cleared after refreshed. Props we'll touch on afterwards.
Hey,
so let's go back to the code. Nice. Let's jump back to the code.
Uh-huh.
And what we're going to do now is we're going to set up a piece of state. And the way we do that is you can see, guys, so right now, imagine in React, everything is component based, right? So a quick run through of what is actually happening here is the app component, which is basically referring to the entire component that you're seeing on the page. It returns some HTML, but this is special HTML, guys. This is called JSX, which means that if we want to actually run some JavaScript here, we can do that by simply adding these curly braces.
Nice.
And in these curly braces, you can actually run some JavaScript, which is really powerful.
Okay. How about just show us like 1 + 1? Like show us the result of that with Javas, like adding it in there.
Okay. So let's do const, let's do sum, and let's just do equal 1 + 1. And let's say, hello, clever programmers, and then we want to pop out the sum.
Yeah. Sum. And we can also just do the math in there, right? We could even type in 1 + 1 right there.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, let's do that. Cool. And
so let's save that and let's check it.
Uh-huh.
So there we go.
Nice. Sick. Okay.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So we can actually run dynamic JavaScript with JSX, which is really powerful. And right now, what we're going to do is we are going to create some, so run dynamic JavaScript with JSX. And JSX, whenever you see that, just think of it as like JavaScript, and the cross is like a hybrid with HTML. So you've got this wicked little hybrid right now.
Cool.
Nice. And what we're going to do now is we're going to basically set up some state. So remember, state is like short-term memory and it's component specific. So right now, when we add state to the app component, it's going to be short-term memory for the app component. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set that up. And here is the syntax to set up a piece of state. So we write const, which is basically setting up a variable. And the syntax for how we do it is we're going to say, let's call it to-dos. So here we have our list of to-dos, which is going to be an array.
Yep.
And whenever we use a use state hook, it's called, we need to basically have our to-do variable, so the to-dos variable, and then we need something that we can call that is going to allow us to change that variable. And the reason why we need this is because React is very clever in how it re-renders the app. So we call this, you usually, the standard of doing this is you usually have set, and then you have to-dos. So you set with your variable name, camel cased. And then you say use state like this. And what we're going to do is we need to basically say use state, and then we basically have the initial value, which is an empty array. So our to-dos is going to start off with an empty array here. And because we're using this use state hook, so this is basically something that React gives us, which is basically that one piece of that one little function called useState is going to set up that short-term memory for us. So to actually bring that into our code, we just need to go to the top here and we just need to import it. So like that. So now we've actually set up some short-term memory for the app, so it's literally that simple. And what we can do now is we can actually test this. So we can go over to our list elements.
One second, hold on. So here we added this here, right? The to-dos?
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so only few things that we have added is use state and then this over here.
Yeah, exactly. Just two things that we've added to set up the short-term memory.
And so to-dos variable is an array.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. And this will basically add things to it kind of like live or within the short-term memory. Because it's a state.
So this will be like our little record in the short-term memory of what the to-dos are.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Nice. And what we're going to do now is where previously we had these things hard-coded, like take dogs for a walk, take the rubbish out.
Yep.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to basically cut this and we're going to put it inside of our array as a string. So that's one of the tasks. And this one we're going to have here as a second task.
Ah, I see what you're doing. Okay.
That.
So like so right now, to-dos basically starts with, do I have my app screen brush on this computer? I don't. Okay. But like this variable to-dos is an array that starts off with this, right? Take dogs for a walk, take the rubbish out or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then what we can do is using the set to-dos variable, like we can keep appending things to this array, but kind of on the fly.
Exactly.
Without even having to refresh.
So whenever we want to change to-dos, we have to use set to-dos.
Got it. So yeah, we can add things to the array without hitting refresh. That is sick, because then that allows me to do everything super fast, right? Instead of having to send it to my backend and then hit refresh and all of that.
Exactly. But remember, it's short term. So if we do append something, as soon as we hit refresh,
it's gone.
The state is going to go back. Exactly.
Got it. So it's only storing it in the front end, but it's not. Well, as soon as you hit refresh, that array is going to be gone forever. Got it. So probably during that time, what I would need to do is send it back to my database in that time.
Yes.
Got it.
Exactly that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So then
the next step now.
Keep going.
So the next step now is basically we have this list, right? We have this list of to-dos. We just want to basically run a small little loop, right? Which is going to go through the list of items inside of the to-dos array. And it's going to populate this list just like we saw it before. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to use that JSX power that we talked about before. So these curly braces. And we're going to say to-dos. And then there's a very powerful ES6 function, like a looping function called map. And map basically goes through that array, and it basically goes through the array, gives you the element of the first element of the array. So in this case, take dogs for a walk, and then you can do some stuff with that, right? And you can return like a little element. So in our case, we're going to return the first list item, so this one, and then it's going to go through it again, get the second one, so take the rubbish out, and then we can return the second list item. So how do we do that? We say to-dos.map, and then we do something here called an arrow function. So the way we write an arrow function is when we go through the to-dos array, we want to get every single to-do, so singular. So bear in mind that this is the array, and this is each item in the array. So that's why we have to-do.
Yeah.
And then we have an arrow, and then we have a normal parentheses. So we have this, and this means that we're going to return some HTML. And all we're going to do here is we're actually going to say list. So we're going to return a list item.
Yeah.
And then inside of here, we're going to have JSX, and we're going to just put the to-do.
Nice.
So now what this little piece of code is doing is it's going through the array, so the to-dos array.
Mm-hmm.
It gets the first one, so take dogs for a walk.
Yep.
And then it pops it in here, and then it pushes this element out. So then we would, at this point, have the first element. And then it would loop through, get the second one, pop out a list element, and we'll get the second one.
Got it.
So
Sunny,
let's save that.
Can you do me a favor real quick?
Yeah.
Can you speak to them just about the overall what we're doing? And I'm going to download an app real quickly so then I can actually annotate over the screen so then they can get visual aid as they're watching, okay?
Yeah, sure, dude. Yeah,
okay,
let's go.
cool. So I think now just the screen.
For those of you guys who are new right now, or you just want a little refresher on what we're doing, we are using Firebase and React. So React is a front-end library, and we're using it. It's built by Facebook. It basically, think of it this way. Web development consists of 3 languages, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And what we're doing with that is we are essentially just making it so that we are wrapping that inside of a library called React. And React is going to allow us to build a really, really powerful to-do list app. And not just a to-do list app, guys. Instagram, Tinder, Uber, all have amazing applications. Facebook, the entire Facebook app is being rewritten with React right now. All of that is done in React. So it's a very, very powerful library. And what we're going to do once we have that working is connect that app to Firebase, which is a service provided by Google, and it allows us to do a bunch of powerful things like host our applications or our React app online. It allows us to have a database. It allows us to have authentication, so you can log in, you can do a bunch of things like that, and it's all real time. And the real time part is the really nice part when we're using React and when we're using Firebase. So imagine we had the to-dos in our app, and let's say some of the users. So once we deploy this, you guys can actually try this out yourself. But when we deploy this live, we are going to actually have it so that whenever somebody adds a to-do, it's going to pop in onto your screen. And there's no more additional code that you need to do in order to get that working. So let's go through some of the comments and let's see what everyone's saying. So we've got, let's have a look. What is React hooks? So React hooks is something which is provided by, so React hooks are relatively new, guys. And what they do is they're basically small snippets of code, which basically look like, honestly don't look like, you don't have to write much code for a React hook to work. So one of the ones that we just used was something called use state. And it basically behind the scenes is going to set up the state. It's going to do a bunch of stuff for us. But before we had React hooks, we had to use like class-based components and a lot more complicated logic. But then the guys over at Facebook said, hang on, this is too complicated. Let's make it simple. And they came up with React hooks. And now React hooks are my best friend. I love React hooks. You can even write your own React hooks, and it becomes quite powerful. So you see, you can need, okay. So Akash G says, you need to use a Django REST framework to create an API and then use React to communicate between the API. So this is something which I get a lot in the coaching calls. A lot of people, so just to clear this up, React is a front end. React, when we talk about React, we're talking about the front end, okay? Django, when we talk about Django, we're talking about a back end, so like a sort of service on the back end, right? Now, what we tend to do previously is have a React front end and then a Django backend, or you can have a Node.js JavaScript backend, and then you would have an API which allows you to talk between them, right? But with Firebase, we actually don't even need the backend. We just have this front end, and then we basically connect that to Firebase, and they take away all of the headache for us. So that's what they wanted to do by introducing Firebase. They wanted it to be a super easy and fast solution to getting around all that headache.
There, we're good to go now. I can easily annotate on the screen.
Awesome.
So let's go.
Nice. So what we just did now is we added our first piece of state called the to-dos
Yep.
at the top, and then we map through them to get each of the to-dos. So take dogs out for a
Yep,
walk,
that's
take the
one.
rubbish out. It's going to go through that. So now if we save this and we load it, we should be able to see what we previously saw before. Nice. And just to prove that this is actually true, Kazi, let's go ahead and add another string inside of our state.
Okay. So I'll add it here. Kazi wants to live stream today.
Awesome.
Oh, that was fast.
Hey, look at that. Nice.
Okay.
So now what we so now
And
what
it's
we want to
looping
do
through
is we
here,
want to
right? That's how
basically
it's showing it. Yeah.
What was that?
I just want to emphasize, guys, that like we're not hard coding anything. It's like actually looping through our array and then writing each one of these out from that like loop that we wrote.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. So now what we want to do is have it so that he doesn't have to hard code it every time, but when we type in the input field and click the button or we click the enter key, we want it to basically push and append into that array, right?
Yeah.
So the first step in React is, again, we need some kind of short-term memory to remember what we actually type into the input. So if we just scroll up a little bit and we go to line 6, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add another piece of short-term memory. And this is going to, the pure purpose of this piece of state is going to be to remember what they type in the input. So here I'm going to say input, and I'm going to say set input, which is the convention that we use when we're writing a hook. And then we say use state. So this is exactly the same what we did for the first scenario, guys, with the to-dos. But this time we're initializing input with an empty string, because when you first land on the page, it should be empty, right?
Yep.
So we do that. And now we have our input set up.
Just to be clear, when you say input, you're talking about this over here. So this should be empty.
Exactly.
Cool. Because right now this is not working, right? If I hit add to do, that doesn't do anything yet.
Exactly. It doesn't do anything, and we want it to basically push into that list and then re-render everything dynamically.
Okay.
So this is the bit where everyone, like, if you're rewatching this afterwards, just pause it, make sure you get this bit correct, because this is where everyone tends to go a little bit wrong.
Yep.
But what we need to do now is we need to connect the input to our piece of state, right? And ES6 JavaScript allows us to do this really, really nicely. And the way we do that is we say, this input should have a value of our input state. So we're saying right at this point that we're mapping our input in the state to this input field, right? Now, if you save this, Kazi, and you go back and try and type in, what happens?
So let me save and then go here and type.
Right.
I can't type.
So nothing's happening, right?
I literally
nothing's happening because what we've so nothing's happening here. So like, even if you type, nothing's going to get pushed in there. So the reason why that's actually happening now, if we go back to the code, that's because we're setting the value here to be the value in our state, which is at this point we're saying it's always blank. So that's why no matter what you type, it will stay blank.
Got it. Okay.
Right?
Oh, it keeps making it blank. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the sort of that's step one that we need to do. And the second step is every time you type, what I need to do is update the state to tell React, hang on, you just changed the input, so we need to keep track of that.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So here what we do, we go to our input and we use something called onChange. And onChange is a function which is part of an input, and basically allows us to basically capture the event that gets fired off every time you press a key inside of the input, right? And this gives us something called an event. So here we could just say event. So every time you press a key on the keyboard, it fires off this thing called an event. And what we do is we use something in ES6 called an arrow function, and we say, when that event gets fired off, set the input to the event. And then basically this bit doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it will make sense once we explain it. So we're basically saying, get the event that gets fired off, get the target. So the target means, we've got some weird stuff there. So event. get the target, which is the input field that we're typing in,
Yeah.
and then we're saying get the value of that
Okay,
input field.
so basically whatever I type is gonna get stored in this variable input, and then that's and basically you're saying set that input to whatever the whatever I'm typing at that time.
Exactly. So
Okay.
every single time you type, it's going to get updated here, and because we're
Okay.
updating the value, it gets represented here. Because React's quite clever, right? When we
Yeah.
use this set input, it knows that we just changed the input, so it knows to re-render this input. And
Right,
guys,
'cause
this is what's
before
amazing about React. Yeah,
okay, so before if I had to write the word sunny, what would happen is like I would write S, but then it would delete it, and then I would write O, and it would kind of delete that.
yeah,
But right now what we're doing is like if I'm actually writing this, it will make sure to leave it there, like all of it there at the
exactly,
same time. Okay.
exactly. So now if we save this and we try it,
Uh-huh. So let's save it. Let's go back. And hey, okay, cool. So now it's actually keeping it there.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So now it looks like similar to what we done before, but instead we actually have that input in the
Right here.
short-term memory now, so we can use it.
Like literally this variable is getting it, like it's creating the variable. Yeah, could we see it? Could we console log it around here?
Yep, we can. Yep.
And
So if you do a console log,
okay, so
good,
I'm
good
just
idea.
gonna
Yeah.
put a little gun emoji right here.
Nice.
I like to add funny little emojis next to my print statements. It just visually pops it out.
So do I. That's awesome. Yeah. And then you want to click the inspect.
Okay, let's go to.
And guys, you should really get used to using the inspector, because just for debugging, just for everything, it's going to be your best friend. So console log everything. We always console log
How the
so
hell
much
do I
stuff
get out
whenever
of
we're
this and
testing
get
out.
to back to the regular view?
So you click on, if you go close out of the settings on the bottom.
I see. There's like crazy devices that are here.
Yeah, you can actually set like a bunch of default ones. I think on the right, the comments and reactions are covering it right now. You want to click that little cross.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And then you want to click on, you see on the bottom left right now, you've got a blue icon that's highlighted. So next to elements, yeah, you want to click that. And that gets it out of the responsive view.
Got it. Perfect.
Yep. And then you're going to click on console.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go.
So now you guys see that little like emoji right here. Now if I write, nice, there we go. So now I can say,
there we go,
clever programmer. Damn, that is so fast.
It's crazy, right? And guys, notice how there's no refreshing on the page.
Yeah,
so that's what React
refreshing.
does perfectly. Yeah. So it's awesome.
Damn, that's fun. Okay, great. So now I see what's happening.
And what we want to do now is basically we have the input value.
Yeah.
So we just want it so that whenever we click the button to add a to-do, it's going to push it into the field, right? So what I tend to do here is you can either do it inline where we have the button here, or I like to make a little function just called const, and we can just say, in this case, let's just call it add to do. This is going to be the add to do function. Yep. And this function, so we're going to use ES6 arrow syntax for writing functions here. And the way we do that is we just write, so it takes an event. So most like anything with like an input or a button, whenever we have like an on change or on click, they typically fire off events.
Yep.
So this one takes an event, and this is the code, little snippet of code that's going to get fired off. So this will fire off when we click the button.
Got it.
We click the button. There we go. So now what we want to do is we need to basically say, we need to connect that to our function. So we say on click, on click, and we're going to say add to do. There we go, add to do. And now just to test it, just like Kazi said before, it's always good practice to do console log. And then here you could just do something like alien, and then you could say.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would save that and then just test it, so that way we can see if it's actually reaching that point in the code when we click the button. So
basically, whenever we click that add to do button, this should console log, right?
Exactly. Okay. Just make sure you've saved the.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So now add to do. I'm working. Nice.
There we go. So then we have the little alien emoji coming up. So we know that the function's connected now.
Wait, hold on. This might be really hard for people to see. I just realized that. There we go.
Right. There we go.
I gotta
Nice.
zoom in maybe even more, to be honest. Okay. So there.
There we go. Yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
Okay.
So now what we want to do is, this is where we need the sort of the fancy logic to say push it inside of the list. And before it used to be quite a headache to do this, but with ES6, so like whenever I say ES6, by the way, guys, it's like the new JavaScript standard. So you get ES6, ES7, every year they sort of upgrade JavaScript. And that's the set of standards that everyone sort of abides by. So every year you get more supercharged features. So whenever I say ES6, that's what I'm referring to. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the set to-dos function. So what we're going to say here is we want to basically update the to-dos with, and the way we do this, so this bit pay very close attention to. So we need to basically set the to-dos to an array. So we're going to set it to an array, but we need to keep whatever we have in the array currently. So we're going to use something called a spread. And what a spread does is we say spread.
That's sick, because that's basically like you're appending it or pushing it to the end of the current state.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Okay.
If we were just to do set to dos and then add a new string, it's going to forget about what's already in the short-term memory.
Yeah.
So we need to say,
so
literally imagine you're spreading out the current contents inside of this array. And then we basically would have it so that we would have here, we would have comma, and then here would be the new to do. So here is the new to do. So here would be the new to do, right? But what is our new to do? It's pretty much what we have inside of input right now.
Yeah.
So it would be whatever we've typed in, right? So here we just put input.
Nice. Yep.
And that would actually, so if we save that.
Wait, hold on. So this input is what is populating. What is?
Yeah. So what's happening here is basically.
Oh, okay.
You see these square
I got it. So this is like what previously already exists, and this is saying
Exactly.
push whatever you have in the input.
Exactly that. So imagine where we have take the dogs for a walk, take the rubbish out. Literally imagine you're spreading that out into your current array.
Somebody said the link in the description is not working. And I know. Hold on.
Let me give that a try as well. 1 second.
Give that a try. Chris Farley says, what version of JavaScript should I learn when I'm getting started? Any suggestions? You can learn, like, honestly, just learn. It's working, right? Yeah, just learn the most modern version of JavaScript. Maybe it's not working on Facebook, so check that. Because it seems like he's messaging from Facebook. So, I would recommend learning the most modern version of JavaScript. You will be fine with that. And those are the things that we cover in our course, Profit with JavaScript. And today is actually the last day of July 4th sale. So if you guys are enjoying this and you want to like learn how to be able to build these things and make an income, you should check out that link in the description below. Outside of that, we're just going to keep going and build this full app. So great question.
Awesome. Nice. So we were on the setting the to-do. So we have the array. We have the spread, which is saying keep whatever we currently have in our short-term memory, and then we're going to append the input. Sorry. So does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
Nice. So if we save that, and then we can give that a try, and then look what magic happens now.
Okay, test. Add to do. Ooh, that is nice. Whoa, add to do. This is
awesome.
But now, even so, if I hit refresh, everything goes away because it's short-term memory. It's just in a state. It's not in our database yet, so it's not permanent. But even with that, it's like so fast. So front end is looking pretty awesome.
It's looking juicy, right?
This is awesome. Why when I hit enter, why doesn't that work? Do I have to do something special to make that work?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So what we're going to do now is we're going to upgrade this so that we have it so when we press enter, it submits the add to do.
Is it because it's not a form?
What was that, sorry?
Is it because this is not a form?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, or is it because we don't have the submit thing?
Yeah, so exactly. So it's because it's a form. So do you know how to do that?
Not at the top of my head. Probably like add the form,
Yep.
like encapsulated with form.
Yep, so that's exactly right. So you want
Dope.
to add a form. So
Yep.
you just literally do what you said. So you go here, you add a form. You basically put all of your
Input.
contents
Yep.
inside of
And
the
because
form.
it's a button, you don't also need submit either, right? Because the button will do the same job as a submit.
So you do need to tell the
Type
form
submit.
that its
Okay.
type is a submit. Yeah.
Cool. So now
So
if we
that
hit,
way that's the one that it's going to go to,
okay, nice,
right?
it's working. So
But
test.
notice this now. So say you see what happened there. You're typing it in, and because it's submitting, so this is a really important point, which a lot of people
Ah,
sort of get stuck on.
yeah, because if
It
I'm
submits,
submitting,
yeah,
it's I'm submit. So it's a form. I'm submitting it, and then the whole page is refreshing. So if I want to
exactly. And in
stop that
React,
from
we hate a
happening,
refresh.
yeah, we don't want things to refresh. You told me that. Like we hate refreshing. So does that mean I need to like what prevent default, or what is it that I need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Exactly that. So basically, where we have our submit, so submit is firing off the add to do function, right? So if we scroll up a little bit,
Okay.
and then so where we fire off the add to do function, so this function here, we actually need to prevent default behavior. So we can get rid of this comment now, or we can keep that comment if we want. Here we can just say event dot prevent default. And what this is going to say is it's going to say, don't refresh the page when you submit. Because in React, we don't want to refresh it. We're controlling everything on the page and we're using React to do things. So now what this will do is it will stop the refresh, which means that our behavior of appending to the to-do list can happen as it would normally. Yeah, and that's really important, guys, because so many people get stuck on that.
All right, I'm gonna put that in as a note in here too, because that's actually pretty
Yeah,
important even for myself. Let's see if it. Uh, I think that's fine. Okay, cool. So that's
yeah,
awesome. So let's go back now. If I hit save here and then I come back here and I hit test. Okay, cool.
right.
So
So the next question is that why is it not clearing our input?
we would have to probably clear it every time we submit, right?
Yeah. So any idea where we would roughly do that?
I'm thinking. Okay, so where I would do it is I would make yeah, once probably in here in this
Yep.
function add to do, and what I would want to
Yep.
do is just like set it back to this empty state. So I don't know the best way to do that. Like, would it be, I don't know, set
Yep.
input to blank again?
Perfect. That's exactly what you do.
Really?
Yep. That's exactly what you do.
Nice. So guys, I'm learning. What's cool about this is real time. It's not like rehearsed. So I'm actually, because I'm very fascinated by React and I want to learn it, and Sunny knows it so well, I'm actually live learning it with you guys together. So if you're new and
Awesome.
you're picking it up, like I'm picking it up myself. Sure, I have experience with some other programming languages like Python, but I'm having a lot of fun like picking it up. So that's why I'm asking so many questions. Hopefully it's bringing you guys value. Okay,
Yeah. That's
so
awesome.
so now
Nice.
it's clearing it up. Sweet.
Awesome.
Okay, love it.
Nice. So somebody just asked now, why do we need form when we can do it with a normal button? So the reason why we wrapped it in a form was so that naturally when you're typing in a form, you usually hit the enter button and you want that to submit the input field, right? So that's why we wrapped it in a form, and that's how you get that behavior that we're all used to. If you don't have that, then when you click the enter key, it's not going to submit the form. So that's a good question.
Yep. And then here,
Nice.
clear up the input. Cool.
Awesome. Right. So now I guess we're on to the fun part. So we can do a few things right now.
Whoa, somebody
We
just paid us
could.
$2.
Oh, nice.
That is sick.
Oh, such a good question as well. Kazi, you want to jump on that question?
Nice. Thank you, Lolo. Let me actually hit
Awesome.
this. That is so cool. So, they said self-taught, boot camp, or degree. Explain. So my personal opinion on this is, I mean, I'm self-taught completely as a developer. And when I say self-taught, I mean, yes, I got help with a bunch of mentors along the way. I did go to a college and I was pursuing my degree, but I quickly was realizing that a lot of the theoretical stuff and the things that I was building there were not that helpful to me. So I ended up choosing my own path of learning by myself and then getting clients. So for me, it was self-taught, but I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of value in boot camp and getting a degree as well. But what are your thoughts, Sunny?
So I think that was a really good way of answering it. To be honest, I was the same as Kazi. I started self-taught. I pretty much got a book from the bookstore, the Apple bookstore, taught myself Java. I would honestly recommend, guys, because I've done a degree approach as well. So my viewpoint on this is honestly, from what I spent getting a degree and doing that, as compared to sort of a boot camp or doing things practically myself, I would highly recommend going for the boot camp first because it
Nice.
gives you a lot more practical hands-on sort of approach
Yep.
as opposed to just theory in a degree.
Yeah.
So I would recommend the approach that I would always give is give a boot camp a try first.
Yeah.
So self-teach and give it a boot camp a try first because now with the internet and with all of the courses available, including Clever Programmer, we just have so much at our disposal. So give that a try first before you even consider a degree.
Right.
If you feel like you, honestly, I'd recommend a degree maybe for machine learning, for those really in-depth things. But as for coding, I'd recommend a boot camp
Yeah, because
or a course. Yeah.
you're so involved and you're so immersed in a coding boot camp. That's what I love about it. It's like 8 to 10 hours a day. So definitely, I think if you have to pick between a college or a boot camp, I would agree. Like, go to a boot camp.
Exactly. Exactly that.
All right. So
Awesome.
let me
That was a
remove
really
that
good
question.
question.
Yeah, thanks for
Nice.
that.
So now let's basically, so we have two options now. We can basically either create a component for each of the to-dos, or we can introduce Material UI.
Let's
So
just
you
use
pick,
Material
Kazi.
UI.
Which you want to do?
Material UI.
Right. So right now the app looks a bit ugly. We want it to look really nice, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do with React, and this is what I love about React, is many of you guys are used to Google's sort of look and feel, right? So
Yeah.
we actually know that to be something called Material UI. So to install this into our project, it's going to be super simple. All we need to do is npm install Material UI core. So that first command. So if you just want to copy that, go over to VS Code, and I think we have to open up a set. Okay, yeah, you could do that. We just have to make sure we restart the app when we do that.
Yeah.
So what this is going to do now is it's going to install all of the Material UI core sort of elements into the project. So this includes buttons, it includes a bunch of stuff like that. And what that means that we can get a really nice, clean looking app. So I'm just going to open up Material UI as well on my computer so I can see what's going on. And if you just want to go over to Material UI, click on the left side, the sidebar, Kazi.
Nice. Lolo said that he just subscribed. That's awesome.
Awesome.
All right. So
Nice.
what do you want me to do? Go to Material
So
UI.
yeah, so click on the left little drop down, so the
Cool.
little sandwich bar, and then you want to click on components,
Uh-huh.
and here you'll get a list of everything inside of here. You can click on button. So
Yeah.
let's start off with something simple like a button. And now you can see you get all of these beautiful buttons. And even when you click it, look what happens on the primary button, this default, secondary. So you get that little
Nice.
ripple effect,
That's so
right?
clean. Yeah.
You get a really clean sort of UI. And now you can see examples of how we actually code that. So right now with the primary button, if
Yeah.
we just copy and paste that code,
That's what I want. And
yep,
I'll just go to our button. And actually what I'll do is I'll paste it like this.
exactly, yeah.
And then let me see. Type submit.
Yep. So
And then on
exactly,
click. I'm going to put the on click on in this too.
perfect. And then
And
we can
then
actually, yeah, we just want to change the text.
add to do.
That's it.
And then this one, I'll just comment. Oh, how do I? Okay, hold on.
So if you
There.
want to comment it here, if you press command forward
Yep,
slash,
yep, done.
yeah,
Okay,
and it'll do it
awesome.
for us. Yeah,
So I
nice.
think this should. Oh, I have to also import it, right? Or no?
Exactly. Yeah. So now you'll see that if you ever have an import error, it comes up in the terminal. So to import this, I'll show you a little trick. So no, you don't need to do
Right,
that one because
this
we've
one,
already
right?
done npm. Yep. So you can either do that little bit there, so import button. But you know what? I'll show you a little trick to this. So you don't even have to do that.
Huh?
If you go back to your code and you
Yeah.
just go to button
Uh-huh.
and you basically press Control Spacebar,
Control spacebar.
and then if you go, oh no, I think you have to. Maybe it's not. So if you go to the end of button, so next to the N, so just to scroll next to the button, yeah, and then you want to do Control Spacebar now. Okay, so it's not doing it. But usually what happens is right next to the end, so inside of the brackets,
Yeah.
we can do an import for now. We can do a normal import. But sometimes VS Code allows you to basically, it will bring that in for you.
Yeah, like
So if
bring
we
it in
save
for
it
you,
now,
right?
yeah,
So save, and now it should be good to go. Let's hit refresh.
yeah. So I think we need to run the app. I think you stopped running it, Kazi, maybe.
No.
No? Oh, no, you didn't.
Ooh, look
Okay.
at that. How nice. Test.
Nice.
Ooh, fancy. This is
Nice.
clean. Oh, that is so fast.
Bro, did you realize how when you clicked add to do, it actually submitted an empty value to your list?
Oh, Material UI does that by default.
No, so that's not Material UI. That's
No, no.
actually something we need to account for. So what we want to do is
Wait, wait,
whenever
wait. What
there's
are you
no
saying?
input,
Hold on. What are you saying?
so if you click on add to do now, watch how an empty element gets added to your list. So you see if you scroll down now,
Okay.
you've got gaps. You see you've got gaps in the list.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we don't want that to happen because you don't want to have those gaps. You see
Yeah, I don't
that?
want to have, like, it's
So
actually adding empty things to my array of to-dos, right? Or
yeah,
no?
so right now it's actually adding empty things. So the way we sort of fix that, and it's super easy, is you go to the button.
Can we see it
Uh,
first? Because I want to see it first. Like, can I print, like, I just want to kind of console.log to-dos
yeah.
and just take a look at what you're actually saying so I can understand.
Okay.
So test, add to-do. I mean, is it
Yeah.
actually adding? Because I don't see.
So right now it's adding it correctly. But if you spam the add to do button without typing anything in input field, so if you hit the add to do button like a bunch of
Oh,
times,
that's what you mean. That makes a lot of
right?
sense.
So we don't want that to happen, right? So the way that we fix that is we
Nice.
disable the button if the input is blank, right?
Uh-huh. So how
So if
do
you go
I?
to button, so on line 24, and exactly
I think you
that. So
showed
we
me
say
this trick
disable
at
the
some point, and it's like not input or
input.
something. Woo!
Yep, that's it.
Man, I remember some of this stuff. Nice.
What's the
I mean, not just remember, but it makes sense. Ooh. Ooh, that is clean. Look at
nice,
that.
right?
Wow. That is fancy. Hey, no more
So now
comment.
we have that
No comments are
lovely
coming.
feeling.
Okay, cool.
What was that? Yeah.
Yo, Candace just
So
said she signed up for the Profit with JavaScript course. That is
oh,
sick.
dope.
Nice. Welcome.
Nice. Hey,
Super.
welcome to the course.
Yeah, pumped to have you. That is amazing. Thank you so much for joining. It really means a lot.
Wicked.
And
We'll see you in the
you'll get
coaching.
to have these calls every single week, multiple actually, 3 or 4 calls like these inside of the program, and then yeah, you guys are gonna be building projects in that program every single week.
Exactly. Awesome.
Okay, so what's next?
Right. So
Dude, I'm hyped.
now let's add one more element. So I'm gonna add. So I've just searched something called form control inside of Material UI.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna go here. I'm just gonna paste it.
Yep.
So it's this code right here, and let's just straighten this up. And basically, this one's really nice, right? So I'm going to clean this up. We don't need any of these extra bits and bobs.
Uh-huh.
So we don't need the ID. We don't need this one for now.
Yeah.
And we don't even need this, that, there. So basically, now what we want to say is here, the input label is just going to say,
Nice.
right.
So now we're gonna also have like how our input looks really ugly right now. We're gonna improve and make our input look pretty.
Exactly. So we're going to say write a to do. And then in the input, so basically we just need to grab all of the stuff that we had in our previous input and just chuck it over here now. And guys, you see how me and Kazi are coding at the same time? That's amazing. That's all through VS Code Live Share.
Yeah, that is so exciting.
Nice. So now we need to import all of these things. So we can go to the top, we can do import. So it's, we say import form control. We need to import input
and then input label.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if we save that.
This destructuring is nice in
yeah. ES6, really nice.
Ooh,
so check that out.
Clean. So
nice.
clean. Wow.
And
Nice.
you
And
see the way the text kind of went up. So when your cursor's not on it, it says write it to do, and then it moves up by itself.
yo, Avril just said I just joined Profit with JavaScript. Hey,
Oh
Avril, what is going
no!
on? Welcome.
Hey, welcome.
That is nice.
Nice, awesome.
Dope.
Let's have nice, nice. Someone said which code editor is this? This is VS Code.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah. Nice. So there we have already an app which is looking a lot more better just with Material UI. And that's an example of how you don't need to rewrite the book on this stuff. Like you can just reuse design libraries from people like Google, and you can start taking their code. So you don't have to write all this stuff from default, which is amazing. So I think there's actually one for list elements. I'm not. Yeah, there is one for list elements. Do you want to do that, or should we leave that one?
No, let's do that because this looks really ugly right now.
Okay, so what we're going to do is before we do that, let's actually have it as a... So right now we're rendering on line 36 in our code, we're rendering a list of to-dos, right?
Line 36
So
right here. Yep.
Yeah. So right here, we're rendering a list of to-dos. But React has this amazing thing called components, right?
Mhm.
Now, components basically allow us to write a component that we write once, and then we can reuse it several times over.
Why can't we use Material UI for this?
Yeah, so we can
Nice.
do that. But then what I was going to say is we actually maybe write a component, and then inside that component we use Material UI, so we can
Okay.
show props.
Okay, yeah, and then we can show
Yeah.
how material or how components work too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to basically create a component which is going to replace this, and then if we ever want to change how a to-do looks, we just go to that component. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a new file on the left called todo.js.
Yeah.
So if you want to just create a new one, Kazi, on the left.
So here, add a new file, and we're gonna call it to do, and like this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And should
And
we
then
call
here,
this to do input or something, right? Not just to do.
no, it would be a to-do because what this component's going to resemble a to-do on the screen. So that's why we're going to
like
call it
one
to-do.
row, right? Just like one row.
Yeah,
to do.
exactly. It's going to be like one row, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So in this, so what I want to show you as well is basically there's this amazing snippet called ES7. So if you go to extensions right now, we can just give them a quick demonstration of this one. So go to your extensions on the left.
Okay. Extensions. Wait, where do you want me to go? App.js?
So so you see the extensions on the sidebar, right? So that little square box, that one there. Yep, that one there. Okay. Yep. And then you type in ES7 there. So ES7.
By the way, this is the plugin, guys, we're using to be able to be on the same Visual Studio Code.
Exactly. So here you want to type in ES7.
Yep.
And click that. And then you see that top one, ES7 React Redux snippets, right?
Yeah.
I just want you to click install on that.
Okay.
So guys, 1 million people download this, and it's so powerful right now because we always forget how to write the code for a component, right? So let's go back to our todo.js.
Yep.
And now all you need to type, Kazi, is RFCE. Yeah, and then press enter, and boom.
That is nice. That is really,
That's
really
crazy,
helpful.
right?
How do I remember
so cool.
RFCE? Is it React Framework Control? I don't know. What is
so
RFCE?
It's React Functional Component with an export.
Beautiful. Okay, great. I love that.
Nice. And then what we're going to do now is basically we want to have
we're also using
so if we just
Pretty. We're also another one that we recommend you guys get is Prettier.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is a really good one to use for your code as well. But okay,
definitely.
keep going.
Yeah. Because that will save you guys doing the whole like indentation headache that we all hate doing.
And another one I really like is Bracket.
Oh yeah, that's really handy
because
actually.
This is super helpful when you are looking at your code and you want to know like which brackets. You guys see how it's like colored? How this yellow matches this yellow here, and this pink parentheses matches this pink parentheses here. Because once your code starts to get more and more involved, it starts to get very confusing in JavaScript, like what's ending where. So like this yellow starts and ends this yellow over here.
That's amazing. They changed that now. It's actually much cleaner than it used to be. Nice. Okay.
What was it
So
before?
now what we want to do is go to app.js
Uh-huh.
and we want to grab the code that we have for our list element. So this one here, we're going to copy that, go over to our to-do element,
Yep.
and we're just going to paste it here, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, obviously, we are using a dynamic variable here called to do, right?
Yep.
So we don't actually have access to that right there.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to use something called props. Now, guys, a component is something that we write once, but we can use several times in several places. So we can reuse a component, and then we only have one piece of code to change that component. Props stands for properties, and it allows us, when we're reusing a component, it allows us to differentiate one component from another. So in this case, the to-do itself, the to-do title,
Yeah.
would be the prop that we're going to use, right?
Uh-huh.
So here, what we can do is we can write props, and then here we just write props.todo.
Okay.
So that's how we use props in React, right? Now, the next step is naturally, okay, we're passing through props, but how do we actually call our to-do now? So if we go back to app.js,
Hold on, I'm trying to think. So what are we gonna pass in props? The
so
entire.
you know
Oh, we're just
how,
gonna pass the entire. We're gonna pass the entire array of to dos, or what is it? What is props going to be?
so props can be anything you want. They can be just like how a div
Well,
has a bunch of attributes. So you can have on click, it can have class
yeah.
names.
Okay.
It's literally going to be like this, right?
So we're gonna be
Um,
passing it in our case.
so we're going to just be passing it the to do. So the actual title or the text. So in this case, we could even call it text. So we can say text.
So we're gonna. Okay. Got it. So that makes sense. So we're gonna give it a to do, and then we're gonna do to do dot text.
No, we're going to say props.text because props is a set word, right?
Got
So
it.
we can
So
call
if
we can actually call this anything we want. We could call this,
we
yeah, you
can
can
do.
do that. But the thing is, right, you don't actually want to call it to do, otherwise it's going to get very confusing
Yep.
because I'll show you why is because when we go to do this,
Yeah.
let's go to app.js.
Uh-huh.
And when we actually use our to do, so here, when we do this, when we say to do, so
Mm-hmm.
this is how we do it. We say to do, and then we just do a closing bracket like that, right?
Yeah.
And now, remember, the prop was called text, right?
Yeah.
But we want the value of it to be the to do. Do you see what we did there?
Uh, 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 uh.
So what we're saying here is what makes it actually easier is if you grab todo.js and pull it to the right side of your screen, then we can have both things open at the same time. So split your window. So yeah, let's just drag that over to the right side, and then let's do Command B to hide the sidebar. So Command B, the shortcut. Yeah, and there we go. So now you can see we have app.js, and if we just pull over to do.js, yeah. So you can see now
Yeah.
where we have the so you see on the right side
Yeah.
we have props.text,
Yep.
right?
Uh-huh.
So text is, you see the prop is, so props are whatever we pass through here. So we can have a prop called A, we can have a prop called B,
Oh,
we can
I
have a
got
prop
it.
called
That makes
C.
a lot of sense. Okay, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, so now if I
Yep.
just so this text is what let me actually do that again. This text is basically what's right over here, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
and props is this guy is like whatever is like to-do list attributes, right? Or to-do list props are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Got it. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Somebody just said, I really want to bring my JS level up and focus into React. And here's the bomb. Thank you. This might be the ticket if he is a big part of the PWJ team. So honestly, we're always running React. And me and Kazi are always coding React. We have coaching calls on React. So for sure, if you want to level up your React game, then PWJ is the
Yep.
place.
In
for
Profit with
that.
JavaScript, we are teaching React. We've combined React as a fundamental part of the course. So every single week, you guys are building full-on React apps in the Profit with JavaScript course. And once again,
Exactly.
today is the last day of the sale. So if you're interested in it, I'm not trying to push it. I'm just saying like the price will go up tomorrow, like
Yeah.
midnight tonight. So if you're thinking about it, probably today's the chance to pull the trigger.
Yeah. And guys, just to mention, we actually have a React coaching call tomorrow. So it actually times really well
Yeah, if you're
for those
serious
of you who are
about it, like it would
interested.
just be silly for you to not be in the program. So like you
Yeah.
should just join it, and then if you don't like it, 29 days later you can cancel it. But like it's the most unbelievable program. So at this point, if you are hooked by this and you're seeing value, click the link, join the program, and then come back and watch this training with us.
Exactly.
It's in the
Exactly.
description. So go click the link in
Yeah.
the description. It will take you straight to it. Read it up, click the button, buy it, join the community, and then come back to this training.
Yeah. I think some people are having problems clicking the link. So it's not actually a clickable link. So if that's the case, guys, just copy and paste
Oh,
it.
really?
Can you see that? Yeah, you can't actually, even I can't actually click that link. So maybe
Oh,
that's
that
why.
is very, very problematic. Okay, let me see. Let me see what is happening. Oh, man.
Hey, Angst just joined.
Angst
Profit
just
with
joined Profit
JavaScript.
Jobs. Okay, I got to change that right now because that's really bad.
Yeah,
So let me
that's
go.
awesome. Welcome to the team, Angst. And hopefully I'll see you in the coaching call tomorrow. Awesome.
Okay, hopefully this
Let's have
won't
a look what
crash.
everyone's saying. So, someone asked a good question. So, while you're doing that, I'll quickly explain. So, what's the difference between functional components and class-based components? Which one should I use? So, and where do I need to learn hooks? So, hooks belong to functional components. That's to answer your first question. Class-based components. So, guys, if you need to know this answer, because a lot of people ask it, you're going to need to know both as your fundamentals. And we do teach both. Functional components are the new way of writing the components. They're very clean, they're very slick. What we're doing right now is functional components. Most companies that you join will have a code base written in the old stuff, so class-based components. So you're going to need to know both, but it's not a fear. And honestly, once you know one, it's very easy to pick up the other one. Yeah.
All right, guys. So
So
if you
yeah,
actually go and click the link on YouTube right now, it will work.
awesome. Now it's working. Yeah, I can
But
see that.
we're gonna also we just gotta update it in a few different places. So I'm gonna update it right now in the Facebook group as well, and just make sure it also works there.
Nice.
So now the Facebook.
Also, guys, if
Go ahead.
any of you guys are on Instagram, shoot us an Instagram story right now and make sure you tag
Oh
Clever
yeah, tag
Kazi.
us. Yeah. That would
Yeah,
be awesome.
Clever Kazi and SSSS Sanga. And then just let us guys know that you're watching. We love to engage with you guys, speak to you guys. And Instagram's a really good platform for us to reach out and talk to you guys.
Yeah, and tag us. And what are our tags? So I am Clever
Yeah.
Kazi, and then you are Sunny Sanga.
No, it's SSSS Sanga. So it's four S's Sanga.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. There we go.
You gotta change
So make
your
sure you give
username.
us guys a shout out and then we can reach out and have a chat with you guys.
Yeah. We reach out to a
Awesome.
lot of people. Just please, reach out with this. That's gonna be awesome. We're gonna share your story and we're gonna put it on our Instagram story.
Nice.
Okay. Dope. So
Dope.
let me. Oh wait, I was actually sharing that the whole time, but apparently I wasn't sharing anything. So here you can reach. So Instagram, go here and tag us. Here's it at Clever Kazi for me, and then here's Sunny Sanga.
Yep. Dope.
Okay, cool. All right, go for it.
Nice. So now what we've done is we created a to-do component. We passed in the text prop, right? And we gave it the value of to-do, which is basically going to be the value. So it'll be take the dogs out for a walk or whatever you put inside of your to-do. So now if we actually save this and run this, we might actually have to import our to-do. So if you go to the top, Kazi,
Yep.
and just do import to-do from, so import to-do.
Is it It's not
So
that. Okay, my bad.
no, so you have to do it in a separate one. So it'll be import to do, and then from, and then we use some. So you need to do the directory. So our current directory / to do. Yeah, and you don't actually need the JS anymore.
Nice.
So it's actually really clean how we do that. Yeah, and now what we've done is we pulled in the to do that we just created, and it should be working now. So if we give that a save and we give that a run.
Oh, did you add it in already somewhere here? Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. You did.
Yeah.
You did. Okay, clean.
So if we go back and we check, now have a look at this.
Crashing.
So awesome, right?
Wait, hold on. It worked?
Yep. So if we try and type in something now, so like ABC, there we go.
Okay, so it's not pretty yet, but it's
Yeah, so it's
doing
not pretty yet.
something.
But now what we just did is we actually just moved all of the code over to a separate component.
Got
So
it.
it's actually part of a cleanup process.
Got it. Okay, so let me just write
Yep.
that down as well as a note. So break your code up into. Okay, cool.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is now the really nice part is that we're going to actually upgrade this to do a component to have material UI. But all of the code now that we have to handle is just this, which is really clean, right? We don't have to worry about all the other code. We just add it here and everything will work for us.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. We can add as much complexity as we want, but it's not going to be all in that same app.js file.
Exactly that.
And,
so
and
it's
not,
really,
and,
really
and
clean.
the benefit really here is not just that it's a different file so your code is clean. It's actually that it will render separately from the rest of whatever is happening in your different components, your app.js or whatever. So even if this is loading, it won't cause your entire app to not load, right? Everything else will still load, and then your component will keep loading, and it will like get refreshed later.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's super clean. Like it's going to be really, really nice to use.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to copy a snippet that I've got from Material UI. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the divs to be list. And we're going to just grab this and I've got this from Material UI docs. So these are a bunch of elements right now. We don't really need the avatar, I guess, at this point. I guess we can kind of leave that one for now. Let's just have a look. So yeah, we can leave that one for now. So we can get rid of this one. We can get rid of this one. So list item avatar. And then here, what we can do is we can just have, so let's see, list item. We can push this in. And for our text, what we want to do is we just want to have the primary text could say like to do, and then the secondary text could be our actual to-do.text or props.text. So something like this. So I've just looked at the docs in Material UI and I've pretty much seen an example and I've repurposed it for what we want here. So now to get this working, we just need to import all of the right dependencies. So I'm going to do basically what we done in the other app.js, and we do an import. And rather than, this is what we imported inside of the app.js, but in this case, we just need to do these ones. So list item, text.
Nice.
Yeah, and if we save that and we run that, if everything went well, it should be looking beautiful. Oh, look at that, nice.
Ooh, clean. Okay, test.
Right.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and obviously we can enhance that as we want. We can make it centered. We can do a bunch of stuff. And you know what? Let's actually try and give it that avatar. So let's have a look. List item avatar. Let's try and give it this one. So this might actually be really nice if we do this.
We could even put a little box around it if we want later.
Yeah, exactly. So let's do that and give that a go.
That's not gonna.
And then we need to quickly import.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. What is that shortcut? Maybe it's not. I have it not set up in this one. But yeah,
usually it's quite a nice one where you will go to the end of the line. So if you go to where my cursor is right now, so if you go here right now,
add all missing imports.
Oh, click that. Did that work?
I mean, I think we had all the imports already. So let me try it. So I just deleted a few.
Now. Yeah.
Source action, add all missing imports. Huh.
But if you click on, so if you go to the end of the line and you do Control Spacebar, right where my cursor is, so not outside the bracket, but inside. So inside.
Nice.
Yeah, and then, there we go. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, clean.
Nice. And it would actually do it for, and sometimes you have to go down one. Okay, yeah, so Doesn't always work, but it's quite a nice one when it does work.
No, it's working. It's
so we've
working.
got this.
It's awesome.
One. Oh, nice. Oh yeah.
And then I'll go to list item text. Nice. Okay, cool. So this is good to go now. List item text, all of that.
Yeah, awesome. So if we go in, image icon is not imported. So what is image icon? Let's have a look. Image icon. Oh, right. That's from that's from a different thing. So we'll leave that actually.
Nice.
Maybe that one will do just for now. Yeah. So that's from a different dependency. So we haven't actually installed that one. Okay. So there we go. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we are going to.
What
I
if
guess
we just
the
make
next
the
step, right, is
Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, shouldn't the primary text be props.text?
Yeah, we can change that. We can change that. I just quickly sort of hacked it.
All right,
Props.text. We don't need the second brackets.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool.
Yep.
And then this will just be like, let's just put like dummy deadline.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a good use case.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, that looks pretty.
Yeah. And a quick sort of like tip here. So now say we want to style that list to be centered, right? So every component can have its own CSS. So here, let's create a new file.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. But if we were going to do this, we could do import /todo.css. So we need to make a file called todo.css. So
Mark, give me 1 second. Mark Johnson is asking preview videos of PWJ course. So we're not doing preview videos, so that could be a good idea. Maybe we could put some preview videos.
Yeah.
But if you go to the page that we have in the link, like underneath this video, that will basically show you what the whole course is about. And I have a full video explaining all of the things that you actually get from the program. So if I were you, Mark, I would just check that out and then, just jump in the program. And then from there, you can decide how you like it. And you can cancel at any time.
Yeah. Awesome. What were we doing now? We were saying
we were trying to center it.
Yeah. So let's create a file called todo.css.
Okay, so we will create that file todo.css. What's the reasoning behind every file name being like capitalized like that?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So that it's a standard really. So that way you can quickly identify what is a component. So if you notice all of the components here to do app.js, they all have capitals, right? So as long as you have a capital and you stick to that standard, especially when it grows, so it gets quite big, your project, especially when you're in a production environment, it's very quick to then see what's a component and what's not.
Okay.
So that's the sort of reasoning. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's keep it going. Because right now we're at 208 viewers. So I just want to make sure everybody can get as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I'll slow my questions down a little bit.
So if we go to todo.css and now inside of todo.js, I'm going to add a class name to the list. So I'm going to say class name equals, and let's just call it todo.
I can't
list,
see where
so
you're writing. Oh, okay, you're writing right here. Okay, got it.
And then here we just inside of todo.css now, I'm just adding that CSS rule. And here I'm going to say text align center. And this maybe do it. This might do it. It depends on how we've set things up. But let's save our to-do and save and the todo.js.
Got it.
And then let's go back. Right. Okay, so this happens typically because we have a component inside of, so Material UI has a bunch of rules that is built into it. So I think one of them might actually be centering. What we'll do is I think let's actually keep this to the end so we can style it at the end.
Yep.
Because
let's
what I would
host,
typically
we can
do
even
here,
host it right now if we want, or we can even start connecting Firebase to it now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for now. So let's get rid of this for now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, remember guys, in the beginning, what we did is we set up Firebase and we got a config. So a little config, right?
Yep.
And what we need to do now is actually connect that config. So what I want you to do is create a file called firebase.js. And this is the beautiful part, because right now it's so quick to do this, right? So that's the config, right? But what we're going to do now is I have a little snippet of code that I always use. So I think it's, let me get it 1 second. So I always have this snippet of code that I use, and all you guys need to do is actually just copy this. So pause the video, copy out what I've written here, and we'll explain exactly what it's doing. So this snippet right here. So if we basically, so this one right here. So it says comment out the top right now. And so this is what it's going to do is it's going to import Firebase. So we need to actually install Firebase. So Kazi, if you want to install Firebase to the project.
Okay, so let me go to Firebase. Oh, nice. Mark Johnson actually just joined.
Nice. Awesome.
That is awesome.
So if you want to go to, not Firebase here, so if we go to npm, all we need to do is npm I and then Firebase. So inside of a terminal, we do npm I Firebase. And what that's going to do is going to install all of Firebase dependencies inside of our project.
Nice. Okay.
Right? So while that's happening, what we can do is we can carry on. So we then have this command, is Firebase Initialize App. So this is something that Firebase gives us, and all we need to do is that config that Kazi grabbed earlier. All we need to do is basically just copy that. So we can get rid of this for a sec, and then we can basically just paste that inside of here, and that's like our key. So that's going to be the key that gives us the basic. All that is going to connect everything that we need to do. It's going to connect everything. So it's basically the key to our data, our backend, right? And here we don't need these services, so I'm going to get rid of this. And all we're saying here is we're saying using the Firebase app that we just initialized, so this one right here, we're connecting to Firestore, and we're basically just storing that in a variable called db. And then on line 18, so if you scroll down, on line 18, we export that, so that way anywhere else in our React app, we can just import it, and then we have access to the db. So
nice.
Firestore here, guys. If you just go over to Firebase on Google Chrome.
Okay.
So Firebase has a database. So if you click on the left, the database tab.
Left, got it.
Yeah, and then you click on Firestore. So it will say create database. And then you want to click on start in test mode.
Yep.
And click next.
Yep.
And here you can set it to US Central. It doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Okay.
But what we're going to do here, guys, is this is setting up the entire sort of database backend. So the real-time database, the querying, everything is just getting set up right now. And it's sort of doing all this for us just from what we just did there. So once that's done, we should be able to actually start using our database. And guys, your mind's going to be blown when you see how simple the code is to get this working.
I'm pumped.
Like it always amazes me.
Yeah, I'm really pumped.
It's really, really nice. So Abdul said, why DB inside of export? So that's just a syntax. You can actually write it a different way. You could do it like this. You could say export default DB. So let's just write it like that for now. That means that we can import it easier. So that's something called import exporting, which I'd recommend. We do teach it in the course, but I'd recommend you check up on what an import and export is, and it'll be able to explain what a default and all those things are.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because one thing I learned about React is like if he didn't do this export line over here, then in our other files we won't be able to use this exact DB.
Exactly. Yep. Perfect way of putting it. Yeah. Nice. So the database is all set up.
Beautiful.
So Firestore has a structure of collection, document, collection, document, collection, document, and it sort of goes on forever. What is a collection? It's just like an array. And then inside of the collection, you just have an array. So in our case, if you click on start a collection, and our collection is going to be called to-dos, right?
Yep.
So you click on next, and then the first document, if we don't have to type in the auto ID, but in the field, what we're going to do is text. So remember, guys, that's how we sort of set it up. So text can be like, take the dogs out for a walk.
Or it could be like, we could even call it a task.
No, sorry. Yeah, we can call it a task. Yeah.
Or a to-do.
The value, yeah, or to-do. And the value should be the actual to-do. itself. So take dogs out or something like that. Nice. And click save. Hey, look at that.
I love my emojis.
Nice. And then look at that. That's already in the database. It's got a field, it's got a value, and so forth. So now I guess our mission is to connect our React app to this database and start pulling it in so that if we open up app.js. So do you remember when we set up the initial state, right? For to-dos, we actually hard-coded the beginning values, right?
Yep, we did.
So if we go to the top, so we actually hard-coded these beginning
values. So now
values.
Instead of these, we're gonna get it from the database?
Yes, exactly. So now if we press Command B, you'll be able to hide the sidebar, and it should give you some more screen. Yeah, there you go. And then, so now what we're gonna do is, we can get rid of this console log for now. So what we're going to do is we actually want the to-dos to be empty initially, right? We don't want them to have anything inside. And then what we're going to use is we need to now, so let's actually run the scenario out in our head. So when the app loads, we need to listen to the database and fetch new to-dos as they get refreshed, right? As they get added, removed, right? So when the app loads, we need to listen to the database, and we need to basically just say, fetch all the to-dos as we add and remove them, right? And we want that information to go right into our to-dos. So that's the mission. And I would always recommend just writing a small comment as to what you're trying to achieve before you start coding. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use something called a use effect. So here we do something called a use effect. So just like how use state setup, it's a hook which sets up state inside of our app. A use effect is basically something which we call it. So it's a hook, and basically it runs once when the app loads. So and the syntax for it is we basically have a use effect, and then we have a function, and then we have dependencies. So I'll explain what these are, and we'll sort of replace it as we need to. So the function we write as an arrow function. So you just do this, and honestly, all you need to know at this point is that this loads. So this code here fires when the app loads. So when app.js, so when the component that we're in, when it loads, this code here is going to fire. And this dependencies right here, you basically have an array here, and whatever is inside this array, so if you leave the array blank right now, it's going to run once when app.js loads, right? If you put a variable inside of here, it's going to run once when the app loads, and then whenever any variable changes, whenever, like say for example, if I put input in here, every time, so when the app loads, it's going to fire it off, and every single time the input loads, it's going to fire it off as well. So you see, it's very powerful, this hook.
Yeah, so basically it took me a while to wrap my mind around this before, but basically how I think of this is, for example, if he made it to whenever this input variable happens, the use effect would be firing every single time I type here because I'm changing the input. But if so then the input actually is the dependency. If he has no dependency, meaning he just has that like empty array, what that means is like the only time it fires is when I refresh the page or I start the page. But after the page is started, it will actually like never fire again based on it's not watching for any changes anymore.
Exactly. I think we actually need to run the app maybe. Or are we doing that? Yeah, okay, we are.
So yeah, keep going.
Nice. Awesome. So in this case, we actually just want to run the snippet of code once when the app.js loads and never again, because we want to attach a listener to the database one time. We don't want to keep attaching a listener because it's going to get really stressful for the browser. We just need one listener which says, hey, when the database changes, ping me the new stuff, right?
Nice.
So the way we do that now is we need to import that special DB that we set up earlier. So we say, we say import DB from, and then remember the file that it was inside of was Firebase. And here what we do is we just do this now. So we say database dot collection. So remember we set up that collection earlier, which was to-dos.
Yep.
Hey, Mehrban's on the call. Nice.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you say database.collection to-dos.
She also called you cute earlier.
What was that?
She also said you were cute earlier. That's
really?
that's
The
Sunny's
first time I
girlfriend,
saw.
guys.
Oh, nice. That's my girlfriend, guys. What's up, Mervan? So we've got database.collection to-dos.
Yeah.
And what that is going to then do is we need to now say, so this is a bit that sort of just takes a little bit of getting used to. So every single time the database changes, we want to fire off some kind of event, right?
Yep.
And the one that we're really interested in is something called on snapshot.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that every single time it changes, it fires off a snapshot. And imagine a snapshot as like literally imagine a camera, right?
Yeah.
So every single time the database changes, it snaps it and it gives you that snapshot, right? And whatever you decide to do with it is up to you, but it's just going to snap it and give you that snapshot. So in this case, we do snapshot, and then we need to have some code run whenever that happens here. So now what do we do with this snapshot? And this is the part which is a very slick ES6 line of code, but we'll break it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to say set the to-dos. So we want to set the to-dos to, and now this is the bit which gets quite intricate. So we're going to say snapshot dot docs. So this is going to say all of the docs. So remember when Kazi added a task or like a to-do inside of that collection?
Yeah.
So we're saying go and get all of the docs. And then we're going to say map through every single one of the docs.
So docs are, in this case right now, docs is every single to-do that I've added to the database. Right now, it's only one that I've added.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So we're mapping through all of the docs. And then we're going to say for every single doc, because remember the syntax for this is you've got the plural here and the singular here. So every time you loop through, for every single doc in this case, right?
Set it inside of to-dos.
Yeah, so we're setting that. So right now, this is kind of like the more complex bit here. So we're saying snapshot.docs.map through all the docs. So for every single doc, I want to then do doc.data, which then basically gives me an object back of all of the properties. So the only property that Kazi added earlier was
one
to do, right?
Take out the dog.
Yeah, take out the dog, but the key for that field was to do, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so the key was to do. But remember, doc.data is just going to give us back an object, right? So we need to match the sort of the previous shape that we had earlier, which was like strings, right? So ABC and then like DEF, for example. So now what we want to do is we're going to say doc.data.todo, right? So we're going to say go through every single doc, right? Which is basically all of the to-dos. Get the to-do filled, and it basically bubbles up. So this is going to bubble up into an array, right? And then we're setting that to become the to-dos. So is that, I know this is the bit which is like, this is really sort of more of an intricate part where right now what we're doing here, and we can actually console log this to make this a bit clearer. Yeah. So what we're going to do here is if I just do console.log and I do this. So let's do snapshot.todos, right?
Hold on. Let me. Okay, cool. So this part here is getting that specific to do. And so
I'll show you actually, if we don't add the to do here,
what does
we just
this
do
return? What is this whole thing like? What is this thing inside of the parentheses here gets evaluated to once this entire loop finishes running?
So we've console logged it, so save it and run it and you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the best way to see it, and then you can play around with what you get back.
Refresh.
So now if we, so if we refresh, so
whoa, what just happened?
Okay, so Firebase does not contain a default. Oh, because we need to save the Firebase file.
Okay.
So if you notice, guys, whenever you don't save a file, it's got that little circle. So that's sometimes what happens. So use effect. Oh, so we need to import a use effect as well inside of app.js.
Oh,
so if you click it again and you go down one, there you go. No, it didn't do it.
Still not there. Huh.
Yeah, so sometimes that doesn't work, but yeah, use effect. Nice.
Dope. It's
okay.
There.
So
Ooh, clean.
so can you see it? It actually grabbed the take dogs out, right?
Yep.
So so it done take dogs out. Can you
Oh,
see
it
like if
did
you
takes dog out from my database. That is sick.
yeah,
That's beautiful. Okay.
right? But what we kind of want to do here is let's make the console a little bigger so we can just see it. So let's make the console a little bigger, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to remove the code that sets the to-do. So we're just going to be console logging, right? So we're actually not going to do anything functionally. We just want to see what's inside of doc.data here,
Okay.
right? So now if we refresh,
I have to hit save too, right?
yeah, we have to save, and then we go back and we refresh. So now if you go, so you see there you go. So that little object in the console.
Yep, right here.
So that's basically the collection. You see that it gives us back like an array of objects.
Ah, so this is an array. So this will return to us an array of objects. That piece of code.
And dot data.
So basically,
gives us
when I
back
do
the
set
properties.
to-dos, then it set the to-dos to that array of objects.
Yes, but if we did that, so that's the bit where that's where everyone makes a little error. So if we did this, right? So let's just comment out
this wouldn't work because our to-dos are only right now set to handle arrays, not array of objects.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that's why when we map, we're accessing the to-do.
So I would have to make sure that in here somewhere, when I'm looping through, I need to access the object.
So yeah, you could either do it here,
Uh-huh.
or you can actually do it. So you can either pass the entire object here,
Uh-huh.
or you can just get the to-dos, which would
Got it.
actually work with what we currently built.
Okay.
So this will give us back strings, right?
Oh, so okay. That's why it was confusing because you didn't do dot to do here. You didn't do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was just trying to show you that it was an object that comes back.
Cool. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Got it. So then this basically is just at the end of the day like a flat array with no objects inside of it. Okay.
Exactly. It's a flat array of strings, right?
Nice. Okay.
I would recommend that you usually do pass back the whole object because then you can do more complicated
So
stuff.
right now this allows us to read from the database.
Yeah.
But are we gonna, the next step is gonna be to also have like that two-way sync, so I have, when I actually write stuff on my React app, it also adds it to the database.
Yes, exactly. So this is where it's really beautiful, right? Because this piece of code right here is doing all of the listening, right? So it's always going to listen to whether or not it gets updated, whether or not it gets changed.
Yeah.
It's just going to say whenever there's a snapshot. So whenever anything changes in that database, if we push it, if we do anything, it's just going to basically fire this line of code off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is actually all the hard work's kind of done at this point. So we can actually get rid of this. So now, so as soon as the app loads now, so if you save this and we go back to our app, as soon as this loads, it would actually refresh and then it would show us the stuff that's in our database.
Nice.
So you see that?
Beautiful. Okay. So like for example, if I just went in here and like I added another.
No, so you would add another document. So on the left, yeah, you'd add a document.
Okay.
And you would do to do. Yep. And then. And guys, this is real time, so he's not going to refresh right now. He's going to just pretty much add this to the DB, and it's going to be in real time, going to get added to our...
Whoa, that is crazy.
It's crazy, right?
I didn't even refresh.
Yeah, it's just an instant sync. So now we have this one, literally 3 lines of code, guys, and it's just like literally 2 lines of code if you think about it.
Oh my
and that's
God.
just did everything.
That is beautiful.
Which is insane, right?
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the crazy part is adding the to-do is even easier now, right?
Okay.
So now if we go to our add to-do function, so on line 22,
Yep.
and then we have a look here, right?
Yep.
So now what we want to do is rather than sort of manipulating our local state, right?
Yeah.
We of course want to clear the input because that's local. It's what we do locally.
Yeah.
But let's get rid of our console logs for now. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to say db
Yep.
db dot collection
Mm-hmm.
to-dos. And when we click the add to-do button, we're just going to literally do this. We're going to say add open brackets,
Oh,
open brackets,
wow.
and we pass it an object. right? And
Object.
remember,
Yep.
your
Field is
key
gonna be
was
to do.
to.
Yep.
And I'm gonna let you finish it off. So
The
what's the value going to be?
value is going to be whatever the input is.
Exactly.
So
So
it's going to
if you want to
be,
just, yep,
yeah, in this case, it would be,
perfect. Yeah.
I mean, I
And
think
then we can get
literally
rid
that's
of
it.
this line of code. Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Now we don't have to worry about spreads and everything, because what this is going to do is it's going to basically add to the DB,
Yeah.
which then fires off a snapshot,
Yep.
which then
Oh, wow.
updates our to-dos.
Wow. Wow. That's so nice. Because as soon as this happens, it's changed. So on snapshot, because it takes a new snapshot, and then it
Yep.
just maps. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. So this is just one line of code, and now I can add things to it already.
Yeah, exactly.
That
It's
is
insane.
mind blowing. Okay, so if I do live call rocket emoji and then I hit to do, holy crap, it's right there. And if I go here,
It would be in there. So, yep. So
live call right here. Oh my god. Wow.
Awesome, right?
Okay, eat a banana.
Nice.
Dude,
And you might be
what?
wondering why it sort of popped in at a different point each time.
Yes.
Because it generates a random ID, right? And it sorts that
Sorts by
list
ID.
alphabetically.
Oh,
was that?
alphabetically. Okay, got it. So
Yeah.
I can,
So
so the easiest thing would be like, I want the most recent to be at the top.
Yeah.
So that should just be like a simple sort by, because I'm sure it's creating a timestamp field right in the back, created on.
So
or
you
something.
would think it was, but right now what we're going to do is we do need to actually add a timestamp.
Yeah.
So we're going to add a timestamp every time we push something in.
Yeah.
And what we need to do here is, firstly, we need to import Firebase at the top. So because we need access to Firebase.
Yeah.
Because remember, whenever we do a timestamp, guys, we actually want to get not our timestamp, but Firebase's server timestamp, right?
Yeah.
Because then that way, no matter if Kazi pushes it in America or I push it in London, our server timestamp will be the same. So it's always going to be correct, right? Otherwise, it could have timing issues. So at the top of the file, we're going to say import Firebase from Firebase.
Yep.
So the actual dependency we want. And then we basically just need to get the timestamp value. So here I'm going to do Firebase dot, I think it's Firestore. And then I just need to check this one second. I need to,
following you.
I always need to Google this piece of code. And the guys, it's always normal to do that, by the way. Like, nobody remembers this stuff fully off the top of their head. So Firestore, I need the server timestamp. So how do I get the server timestamp?
Awesome. So earlier, just right now, we had Mark Johnson. He joined. That was super cool. So thank you for jumping in. And he was like, I went ahead and joined it to try and test it out for 30 days. Yeah, I challenge you. Test it out. I mean, stress test it. Just make sure you come to every call. We have like 3 to 4 live calls every single week. So come to those. Be a part of the Slack community. Go through the modules. Like, really extract the value out of the program. And you're going to be mind blown by it.
Exactly. Because we always say it's always about how much effort you put into the course, which is going to determine how fast your progression is. So attend all those live calls, make sure you're there every single time, and just show up, and the results will come.
Yep. Awesome.
Nice. So now if we go back to the code, I found the code that we were looking for. If we go to app.js, so you see this here. It says firebase.firestore.fieldValue server timestamp, right?
Got it.
Now this is something that Firebase
so this
gives
is
us.
This is Firebase's server, right? This is our Okay, this is where our app is hosted.
Yeah.
So,
this is going to be where the data is stored, the timestamp of that server.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why we use this is because when we push in, no matter where we are in the world, where we push it in, that timestamp is going to be consistent with everyone.
Yeah.
Right. So what we might need to do now is actually delete all the current to-dos, because they're not going to have timestamps. So if we go into Firestore, and we just go there, what we can do is a shortcut for this is if you go on the 3 dots on the top right. So those 3 dots, click delete collection and just type in to-dos. Yep, to-dos. We can delete the collection. And once you guys, if there's no collection, even if we push a collection in, it will create one for us.
Does it
So you don't
still
actually need
does
to
it still keep them somewhere? Like, could you like restore it, or is it just gone? Like,
so as far as I'm aware, it's gone. But I
damn.
think there is a rollback mechanism. So you don't actually need to do to-dos here. You don't need to create another one.
Oh, wait, why
I'll
not?
show you because I was going to show you how it works even without it. So
Oh, because yeah,
if
I
we
mean,
don't-
yeah, we shouldn't have to, right? Because they'll create a collection on the fly if it doesn't exist. Is that
Yeah.
what it does?
exactly that, yeah.
Nice.
And now
The
what we need to
emoji
do is-
plugin I'm
because-
using, by the way, guys, is called Rocket Emoji. It's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Get it? It's MatthewPalmer.net. So
Crazy.
it's for Mac, not for PC. Find something on PC, but it's absolutely awesome. So I just hit colon, and then I'll just write my whatever rocket or whatever word, and then it like pops it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now if we go to the React app, back to the code.
Yep.
So where we do the on snapshot, all we need to do now to sort it is crazy. All we need to do is just do order by. So we say order by, and order by takes two parameters, right? It takes so it's just like a chaining, right? So we say order by. The first parameter
Is like
gonna
to-dos.
be- It's
Or
going to be the
to-
actual
to-
key
to do,
of the
to
thing
do.
that we want to.
Yep. So the key is to do in this case, right?
So remember, what are we sorting it by? The to do or the timestamp?
The timestamp.
Yeah. So this bit would be the timestamp.
Yep.
And then you would have ascending or descending. So here,
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think it would
descending.
I think it would be descending, right? Descending. We can try it.
Because the
Yeah, but we-
most recent one is going to be the highest value.
Yeah. So that's correct then, right? Descending.
Yeah, that should be correct.
So now if we save that and give that a go, hopefully everything's done well. So
Whoa.
there we go.
So I tried A and Z just because I wanted to see if it does it alphabetically, but it doesn't. It just does it by timestamp.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Kazi, it didn't do it by your value last time alphabetically. It did it by the ID it generated for that document.
I don't understand. What?
So if you go to Firestore now,
Yep.
so go to the collection and refresh, because you're gonna have to refresh this bit to get
They're
it.
not made with React.
And then if you click that, so
Ooh,
you see
nice.
each of these have a unique ID, right?
Yep.
That they get by themselves. That's what it was sorting by alphabetically, the unique ID.
Beautiful. So wait, hold
You
on.
see that?
It's that's what it was doing before, but right now it's doing it by timestamp, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Awesome. Nice. So yeah, somebody said, "Hey, Sunny, put the order as an input so the user can choose whether to view it in descending or ascending." That's genius. I think we should try that. I've never done that. Let's try that out. That's really good. Let's
Okay.
do So let's go back to the code and let's add a quick sort of drop down, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So input. So how do you do an input? Inputs. Is
Right
it
here.
switch? I think it's switch.
Oh, you're gonna
So
do
I
some
just
fancy node stuff. By the way, Sansi
Yeah, I
just
just-
joined. Welcome, Sansi.
Oh, nice. Welcome. Awesome. Let's try this out. So let's do something like, actually, you know what? Firstly, let's deploy it and then we'll give that a go because that's a really nice idea. But I think deploying it would be a cooler thing to try first.
Yep. And then we
Um,
can add the delete functionality too. What is
Yeah,
this
deleting would
complaint
be
that's
cool.
happening? Actually, I can just ignore that, right?
Yeah, so this is actually quite an important thing, right? This is keys are important in React for the sort of demonstration of this. Like for going through this demo, I don't think we would go through everything on the keys because I think it might take a bit of time. But I'll show you actually how we could do this. I mean, because if we're gonna add deleting, we do need to add keys anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's give it a go then. Yeah. So what we'll do now is, let's first do a deployment and then we'll add the delete functionality. Yeah.
Yep. Let's do it. Down.
So to deploy is so simple. So,
Firebase deploy.
Yeah, that's it, literally. So now if you want to go to your terminal,
Yep.
yep, And what we need to do now is do something called Firebase space init, right? And this is going to pop up the Firebase CLI. So it's a really nice sort of user experience here. And now what we want to do is just go to hosting and press spacebar.
And not Firestore or
Yep.
anything else, because we've already set that up.
Yeah, I mean Firestore. So if you add this here, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a file to determine like security rules.
Yeah.
So if you want to apply like security rules to your database, that's where you could bring it in here. But we can do that later if you want. But I mean, I haven't actually tinkered too much with the rules, but
Got it.
hosting is where we do it here. So if you do hosting and then press enter,
Cool.
and then you just click on use existing project,
Cool.
and we find the one that we had.
This
so I
one.
think it's the to-do app CP, right? Yeah. And then here, this bit's really careful, guys. You have to type in build here. So this is a React thing. So all of our build stuff goes into a folder called build. So yeah, we do that. And then here, so React is a single page app, which means all of the entire app loads in one go. So here we want to click yes, yes.
Ooh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
So this will be a yes.
Okay, because by default it's a no, so you can't just hit enter here.
Yeah, you would have to type in yes. Yeah.
Cool.
And then there we go. So now what we need to do is run two commands, one after another. So the first command is going to be npm run build. So if you want to run that one first. And what that's going to do, guys, is it's basically going to... So whenever we're coding in React, we have a bunch of extra stuff that happens, right? We have hot reloading. We have all this extra stuff. And that's basically going to allow us to have a really nice developer experience. So every time Kazi saves a file, it reloads and it refreshes. So that way we can develop easier. That stuff's quite heavy. So we don't want those features when we deploy it, right? So what we do is we do npm run build. And basically it bundles up our entire app into a really, really efficient, tiny package.
Yep.
Right? And then when it has that tiny, tiny package, then we deploy that tiny package. So that goes into the build folder. So now you can see on the left, we have a build folder. And we don't touch the folder. We don't really look into it. But this is what gets generated. This is what gets generated by npm run build. So once we have that, now we do something called Firebase deploy. And what that's going to do is it's going to basically go to our build folder, find the contents, and then deploy it.
Oh,
guys,
nice.
This is the most simple deployment I've ever seen in my life.
Damn.
So now if you click on hosting URL, that's a live link, guys. That's a live link, which is completely free, works, and there's the entire app.
Yo, guys, jump on this app right now. It's live.
So let's paste that into the comments and let's see everyone get
You
into
should
this app.
put this in the comments, Frankie. You can. I can't. Okay, I'll Slack you. Here, I got it. So Frankie, here I just Slacked you. You can drop it in the chat for everybody.
And guys, if you
Got it,
like
right?
this and find this cool, throw a story on Instagram and tag us
Yeah,
when you see
do it.
everything flying through.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome to see that.
Oh yeah, because we'll have everybody starting to write on here, right?
Yeah, that would be insane, right?
Yeah, we had we had a Mark Johnson just enrolled in PWJ.
Nice.
Sansi just enrolled in PWJ. Oh, we got people here now. They're saying, yo, it's almost like a chat app right now.
Yo, look at that. We basically have a chat app, but it's a to-do app. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's actually fast. Maybe we should have started to. Somebody said subscribe to Clever Programmer. Sam says, hey, Nishat, hey.
Nice.
Somebody says buy the course. Awesome.
Nice.
Maybe we should have
Nice.
started with this, next time. Like have everybody start off on it.
100%.
That would have been
Get
a great
everyone
demo.
pumped up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And guys, this is showing you how powerful this is right now. Like there was no server setups. There was no like headache and sort of intricate setting up. It's literally a case of we just deployed it. We had it connected to Firestore. And look at this. Everyone from around the world is all checking out. So somebody says, is React worth the trouble? 100%. 100% it is worth learning. It's one of the most, I think Kazi is the most highly demanded framework.
Yeah, look at all these records that are coming in.
Dope.
Yeah, seriously, guys, this is like React is one of the hottest trends in the world right now. It's one of the things that is the most looked up, and it blew my mind when I started building things with it myself. And I mean, I'm really excited right now because I'm actually learning all these skills too about how to actually use React to host it on Firebase, to have a full CRUD functionality within your app. It kind of blew my mind how simple this was, because whether you use Python and Django or you use any other, whatever you use, making to-do list apps and all of this stuff, you have to add so much tedious functionality to make it fully CRUD enabled, even if it's like with the REST API. And you have to have so many routes and so much stuff. And this is just single page, because normally, Sunny, what you have to do is like, you got to create all these like different pages, and then you got to have all these different endpoints like /delete and /create. And this was
exactly
honestly the simplest one that I've ever seen.
Yeah. And guys, this is production ready. So if you get a client who wants you to build a website, your turnaround time here is ridiculously fast.
Wow.
Like you can get this running very quick. Let's say like Kazi wants to update something in the web page now and change it and fix it. All he has to do is make the change, npm run build, and Firebase deploy, and the thing's done.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Which is insane, right?
That is fantastic. I mean, I love that they're actually writing on here. So how can we add the delete functionality?
Yeah, awesome. So Abdullah said, guys, pose for the photo. Nice. Let's do it.
I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice.
Hey,
let's continue.
Let's go. Nice. Awesome. So now if we want to add a delete functionality, so this is going to take a little bit of work, right?
Really?
So I say that, but it's actually not that much code. So now what we need to do is we need to, remember we were doing it to a flat array here, right?
Yep.
So now what we want to do is we need that object. So we can keep this structure, but we need the ID, right? Because we need to know which document
it is that we're trying to delete.
Yeah. We need to know which document, which ID to delete, right?
Yep.
So here, what we can do now is we can actually do, so this is again, we already understand what this bit's doing. So we kind of just need to create an object, right? So it's going to be an object. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to say that object is going to have a key with to do, right? And that's going to have what we had previously, right? But it's also going to have an ID. And this ID is going to be doc.id. So what we're doing here now is we're not just having the flat structure that we had before. We have an object where the to do, yes, is what we had before. But we also have the ID.
Got it. Yep. And we're still going to have array of objects, right?
Yes. So now we're going to do an array of objects. But if we save this now, it's going to break. So it's going to break now because it's passing through an object now in our component.
Yep.
Right. So on line 48 now, this is now an object where we have to-do.to-do, and then we have to-do.id. Right?
Oh, my bad.
So if this once this starts running, it's actually going to break. So Chad Williams says, can you get a job after taking this course? Actually, it's a really good question, because a lot of people actually get jobs while they're on the course, or they get clients while they're on the course.
Right.
Like the 17-year-old who's landed his own coaching client, which is insane. He's actually on the call.
Amanath, right?
Yeah, Amanath actually landed $180 from a coaching call, which is insane, guys.
Yeah.
So you can definitely do that.
That's crazy.
So localhost. So if you go back now, Kazi, to so it says to do. You need to save this. Yeah.
Okay. Saved.
Save, and now it will error out. So if we go back to our code, it's going to what happens? It's going to freak out in a second. And it's going to say, whoa, you're passing an object. Object is not a child, or some kind of crazy error is going to pop up.
It's not. Yeah,
you see, like it's bugging out, right?
It's like fully bugging out, right?
Yeah. So as you see this, objects are not valid as a React child. So this is happening because we're now passing an object. So if we go back to the code, app.js line 48. So now to do is no longer a string. Right. So to do is actually an entire to do. So if we pass in to do,
Yep.
here. So if we go inside of our to-do component, so
Okay.
in todo.js,
To-do.js. Got it. Okay. By the way, I'm
yeah.
following you, so I think if you go to it, I'll go to it automatically.
Oh, nice. Oh, awesome. So now you see where we have props, right? Here we had props.text before. Now it's props.todo
Yep.
dot
Text.
dot to
Dot
do,
to do.
because
Got it.
remember that's what the key is, right?
Yep. So this is like really like this is the text part and this is the to-do object.
Yes,
Got
exactly.
it. Okay.
And now what we're going to do now is every single to do is going to have a button on it, right? And this button is going to say delete me,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And basically we're going to have a function which is going to be up here, which is going to say const. You don't actually even need a function, but I'll show you how we can write this. But here we're going to say const, and this one's going to say delete. You know what? I'm going to show you how we can do this without even a function, so we can do it inline. So here, what we're going to say is we're going to say on click, right?
Yep.
On click. So when we click this button, I'm going to say,
yeah, that makes
if
a,
I
that's a really good way to do it. On click, like basically remove it.
Yeah. So on click, and then here, what we're going to do is we need our DB. So we need to say import DB from Firebase. So we need to say from Firebase. And guys, remember, this is our local Firebase, not the dependency Firebase.
Yep.
Right. So this is our folder that we created. And then here we're going to say db.collection .todo, as in to-dos. And then we're going to say delete. And then delete is basically going to have, I think here we literally do props.todo. Oh, no, sorry, not that one. We don't do that. We say go to the doc with the ID, so props.todo.id. So go to that ID, and then we just say delete. And that's it. That should literally do it. I think that's identifier expected. This is because we need to wrap this inside of a parenthesis, a bracket here, and then we do this.
Wait, why are there two squigglies?
Because we're running some code,
this?
but I think
what is this?
I think it's because we didn't import the button. That's why, actually.
Wait, what the hell? So another.
So get rid of these for a sec. I'll show you why. The reason why it's freaking out right now is because we haven't imported this. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so now we're just running the Java. Okay, yeah, there we go. That makes a lot more sense.
We need to import the material UI.
Yeah,
button.
Sam is saying, why don't you put a bin icon? Yeah, that's what I want to do. I just put like an X emoji, but we're gonna put like an icon.
Yeah, and we're actually going to show you how you can use material UI icons, which would be even dope, like more dope.
So let's refresh this and see what happens. I'm refreshing.
You need to save app.js, Kazi. Otherwise, it's not going to... Yep.
Okay.
There we go. And now we should have done everything right. So it's going to be to do and then to-do.to-do. Yeah. So...
Okay. So we're here.
Yeah.
When I try to write, it just kind of crashes. It's
so
here.
Okay,
all the delete me's are right there.
Yeah, so
oh, shit.
There you go.
Whoa, it's actually deleting it. I think it's deleting it.
Yeah, no, it is deleting it. So I tell you what, Kazi, if you put one window on the right for the Firebase app, and then you just keep hitting delete, and have the React app on the left, you should be able to see the actual database showing red lines where it deletes it.
Okay. So now if I hit delete, there's
so many records, so it might not be a case of, yeah. So if you just spam the delete button, so yeah, so you keep clicking delete, so it's going to delete eventually to a point. Ooh. I think, it's going to get to a point where we're not going to see it because there's so many things.
Yeah,
but it is deleting it. Yeah, it's definitely deleting it.
Yeah, it's deleting it. Oh, I saw the red.
You see that?
I saw the red. Yep.
So it is actually deleting it.
Delete my message, please.
Nice, right? So that's actually honestly insane, because from one line of code, We literally just deleted things, and we did that by using the ID of the to-do,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, if we want to use the icons, it's very simple. In Material UI, they've got an icon pack. So if you go into Google and just type in Material UI icons, so all you need to do is do an npm I, and then you need to install the package. So when you go into that one, you see that Material UI icons. So you need to do npm I that. So npm I Material UI icons. Yeah. Nice. And that will install all of the icons. And to actually use them is super simple. So now if we actually go back to that page that you're on and type in bin or delete. So on the
these guys
Material
are
UI
going...
icon page.
What's up?
So if you go to Material UI.
They're spamming this a lot, so let's just shut it down. Is there a way we can undeploy it?
So undeploying it. No. So if you go to
guys, whoever, just stop your spammy messages. Okay, so if you're fucking this up for everybody, we're gonna ban you from the account. From the YouTube account. So if you want to do that, just don't be here, please. We want to just make a good environment for every single person. But in the meantime, Frankie, can you make a few people admins and then just tell them like they have permission to kick anybody out that's actually causing a bad experience? Because somebody keeps spamming Aham Adil and all this stuff. So just kick Adil out as well, and then anybody else who's doing that, because we just want the environment to be really, really good.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because we don't want it to be spammed, guys, and we just want it to be a good environment for everyone to sort of learn from.
Right. This is the difference between when you do something for free, when you have paid. Like, you never have this happen, right? So that's why in the program, when you actually join Profit with JavaScript, it's a very clean community, and we keep it very organized. Because if somebody does that, we will literally throw them out of the course on the same second. So that's never going to happen there.
That even goes for girls, guys. So like a lot of girls actually are in the course, and there's people that say inappropriate things. We don't tolerate anything. So it's a completely safe, comfortable environment for everyone to be a part of once you're inside the course.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, we will fly to your house and like kick in your door if you are acting like that around other people, because people are above everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So now what we want to do is we installed the icon pack.
Hey, Chad just joined. Hey, welcome to the program. That's awesome.
Hey, welcome.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
We'll see you in tomorrow's coaching call. Dope.
Yeah. You're doing your React coaching call tomorrow, right, Sonny?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Epic.
7 p.m. BST. That's it.
Okay. 7. Nice. Are you sure? 7 p.m. PST? Is it that late, or is it 12 p.m.?
I think it's 12 p.m. EST. So your time is 12 p.m. Yeah.
11 a.m. I think. Okay. Got it. 11 a.m. Pacific. Got it. And 7 p.m. your time.
Yeah. That's it.
So
if we go, let's go to Material UI on the website. And let's click on so Material UI. Yep, the docs, and then you see. Where was the icon one? So you see your right tab, the one on the most right. You got Material UI. Yeah. So you're gonna click on So at the top tab. So you've got a tab open, Material icons.
Material. Okay. Right here.
Yeah. So you see search icons. So this is like a little search drawer, right? So if you click it, if you type in bin,
delete forever.
So that's a good one. Yeah. So now you see it's got an import there, right?
Ooh, clean.
This is so clean, guys. Like it's crazy how clean this is. So now you go into the todo.js.
That's nice.
So it wouldn't be here. It would be inside of the to-do. Yeah. You'd put inside the to-do.js. And then here you want to do import, and then you want to chuck it into,
What was that shortcut that you showed me that switches between recent files?
Command P.
Yeah, Command P, and then what?
You just let go of it.
Let go of what? I'm doing it.
Command P. Sorry, you press Command P twice. So press Command P, yeah.
Oh, I
press
see.
it, P, yeah, there you go.
Nice. Yeah, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah,
I always switch between two recent files. Okay.
that's really sick. Yeah, that's quite handy for being fast. So now all we need to do is type in literally, so we're delete forever icon. If you just replace button, so you see where you've got button.
Yep.
So you don't even need to do that. Honestly, you could just, you see if you highlight button, yeah, do that. And then literally make button self-enclosing so you don't have any text for the button. So we can get rid of all the text and all of the right stuff.
Oh, nice.
So make it a self-enclosing attribute. So
oh, so like, okay, so you mean like basically do, whoops, do something along the lines of that? Is that what you?
So
Is that what you mean?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And
that
is it
works-
easy to undeploy the app or no?
Yeah, I think it is quite simple. If you go to the Firebase console, we should be able to see there. I think there is a way to do that. Yeah, or we could just deploy a dead version of it so it stops it. So if you go to on the left and you go to hosting, so hosting, yeah,
Hosting right here.
yeah, you'll see one of the deployments are there. So oh, you need to go back to hosting. So yeah, that one. And then it will refresh. And now you see you've deployed it at the bottom. But if you go to, so the three arrows, the three dots, sorry.
3 dots.
See on where it says clever Kazi at cleverprogrammer.com.
Uh-huh.
And then you've got
collapsible.
yeah, so there. And then let's see. So see release storage settings. So now what I think we'll do instead is pretty much have it so. What we could do is we could literally deploy a bugged out version. So we'll do that quickly to stop everyone sort of spamming it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you let's just quickly do this. So we'll basically have it. So I'll disable the form and all of this. So in app.js, I've just disabled the form. So I pretty much like just
Nice.
commented it all out.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna do. So you need to do it in the terminal.
Okay.
But you just need to do npm run build. So if you do npm run build and
Uh-huh.
Firebase deploy. Yeah, and now this would it'll rebuild and it'll deploy. And to shortcut this, guys, a really handy trick is if you go package JSON now, Kazi.
Yep.
And then you see in package JSON on the left, so on the file, the package JSON file.
Yep.
Yeah. So that command, those two commands, what we can do is we can actually combine it and make a command here called deploy.
Nice. Oh,
Right.
yeah. And then do we have to install also React scripts or do we already have that?
No, it automatically does that when you use create React app.
Yeah. The reason why we don't want to put a lock on databases because we still want to use it. We still want to use the database. But,
Yeah.
But like the online version is going to be bugged out now, so nobody will be able to use that. But the actual version will be fine. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
I
might
just
be
got an
cached.
idea. Like maybe in the future, what we can do is like deploy it in a way where anybody who comments anything that's like bad, then it can kind of just filter that. You know, it just has like natural language processing. I'm sure there's probably just
That's
like
a
an
really
easy
good
way to
idea.
add a
Yeah.
filter.
We should do that actually. You know what we should do? We should have a cloud function which runs every time somebody pings a message in, which
Yeah.
would check if it's
That's
and
actually,
that would
and
be
it's
like
a
a
good
natural
use
language
case
filter.
because literally we need that.
yeah, that'd be awesome. We should definitely build that. Yeah, we'll do that. That'd be nice.
Okay. Dope.
Awesome. So now if you want to run that command, you can do npm run deploy and it will do that. But it's already deployed. The thing is that some people have a cached version.
Oh,
so
I
it will
see.
only be until they refresh that it actually does that.
I see.
But yeah, but it should fix it mainly.
We could change the
so
hosting
now-
URL.
Yeah, it's change our URL. Exactly. Cool. So I think what we'll be doing now, let's go to your local host.
Yep. Okay.
So npm start.
Did we install React scripts or did it already come with it?
It automatically comes with it when we do npm. No, when we use create React app, it automatically sets everything up.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I need to uncomment this. There we go. So if we save that file now, so
Where?
save app.js.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and then go back. So now, yeah, so you see that little delete icon?
Yep.
Nice. So
Nice. So
that's
if
it.
I click it, it
Yeah,
goes away. Oh, clean.
yeah. So you can add some CSS rules around it, which changes it to a pointer,
Yep.
which is kind of cool. So that way it looks a bit more interactive, and you can have it so that it gets a little bigger when you sort of hover over
I
it.
mean, the main thing
Um,
right now, the only big thing that's left from this is to be able to edit an existing to-do.
okay, so editing an existing to do is more of a. I'm not actually sure. Let's figure out that one. So we would need to either do a modal
Yep.
or something like that, which pops up. We
Yep.
could do something like that, or we could do a. Um, Trying to see. Let me have a look on Material UI. Let's see what modals they have. Material UI modal. There's a few ways you could do this one.
Okay.
So let's have a look. So modal, simple modal. Okay, yeah. So let's use this as an example. So we're gonna have a button on the to do.
Yep.
So if we go to our to do component,
Okay, hold on. So our to-do component. Yep.
yeah. So every component is gonna basically have a modal attached to it, right? So
Yep.
it's gonna have a
Oh, nice. Yomna just joined. That's awesome. Welcome, Yomna.
nice, welcome. Awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a modal. So let's just have, so you can't ever have two things next siblings. You have to wrap it in something called a React fragment.
Uh-huh.
So you see like two siblings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a modal outside. So
Yep.
you see this? So you got modal. And then what we're going to do here is this is just code from Material UI, guys. And what this is going to say is this is going to be a piece of state, which basically tells us if the modal is open or not.
Uh-huh.
And this is going to be a function, which is basically going to handle what happens when you open the modal. So I will get the code for that here. So if I do this now and I have it here, so handle open, handle close. And then I do const. So we need to keep track of what open is, right? So we need a piece of state.
Mm-hmm.
So use state, and then this is going to be by default, it's going to be false because it's not going to be open, right?
Yep.
So handle open, handle close. So right now, this just makes it a bit simpler because we just call that to open it, we call that to close it.
Nice.
But to be honest, you could just do it like this. You could just literally do on close, E, set open to be to false, and then we don't need this bit of code.
Okay, great. And then
and the
open, can
same
you do
with
the same thing? Yeah.
Yeah, and the same. So we want it to open. This is the thing, right? We want it to open when they click an edit button. So when they click a button, so right now we just have a simple button saying
Right.
edit me. So
Yep.
edit. And then here we're going to have on click.
Hey, Leif, thank you. Bor P9 PNT9. That's Leif. He's in Profitable Shortcut program. Thank you, by the way.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's really good.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Here we have set open to be true. So that way we want that modal basically just to pop up when the person clicks it, right?
Yep.
So then we're going to have simple modal. What is a simple modal? Where's that? Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to find the code for it. So body. Okay. So now I just want to test this. So I want to say, let's just have a div inside of here. And let's just call like a H1 saying open. And then we're going to have we're going to have here a button, which when you click that button, it's just going to say on click. It's going to close it for us. So we're going to say on click, E, set open to be false. So now we've got a button inside of our modal because this is the body of the modal, right? It pops up.
Yeah. I'm a modal, not a model.
Oh shit! I have modal. There you go.
Yeah.
And then here on close. So now if we actually run this, so we save this and run this.
Okay, save it and.
Oh, we need to do the imports. Yeah, we need to do the imports. So use state. We need to import it here. So
modal, and then where does use
and also
state? Use state. It's up. It's already there. Just I think you just needed the modal. Modal is here too now.
Nice. So now if we run that, so now if you click edit,
Ooh, fancy.
I know, right?
Ooh,
Okay.
clean, boy. Look at that modal. I mean, it's popping up, so I'm
Nice.
pumped. When I click out of it, it goes away.
Yeah. Awesome, right? So obviously we can style it, we can make it look really pretty. Right now it's quite ugly, but we can make it look really nice afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, so now what we want to do
I
is
mean,
we need an input.
shouldn't it look somewhat normal? I mean, it's coming out of Material UI, right?
Yeah, because we're not actually using, so they have something called modal style. So if we implement that, so I'll send you a link if you just go to Google and type in Material UI modal, you'll see where I'm at.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and there you go. So that's where I'm at now. So I was just looking at some example code. So I was looking at, you see where it says toggle the code snippet? Yeah.
Open modal right there. Edit in Code Sandbox. By the way, Code Sandbox is freaking awesome, you guys.
Yeah, so that's a really good way of playing around with this.
Yeah. Actually, by the way, Sunny, maybe in the future we should be really using Code Sandbox to do this type of stuff. Because then
That would be cool.
literally everybody could follow us along.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. Is it read only? Can we do like a read only thing or?
They can't write on our thing. Like, they would have to fork it.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, that's really good. Does it update in real time? Like if I was to come to yours or?
Yeah. I mean, for us, I think it would be updating in real time. And then for them, it would just be like, if they want to write the code, they won't have access to write the code. They would have to fork it or something.
That would be awesome. Yeah, we should definitely do that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I guess then people won't have to suffer the sort of starting it up headache, you know?
Yeah, they can literally follow us along as we're building it.
Exactly. Okay, dope. Let's just see where they get the styles from now. So you can see in if you go to show the source of that code, so the little
So if we go here,
crocodile
there's
brackets.
package. Okay, hold on.
So you see here, yeah. So you see there's a
Styles.
modal, right?
Make styles right here.
And it says, yeah, and inside of the modal, so at the bottom, do you see where we render the modal on the screen?
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
What is this? Recursive modals.
It's crazy. And they all like nested correctly as well, which is crazy. So now if you go to the bottom,
Uh-huh.
so you see the body, right? That little body object on line 45.
Yep.
That's rendered in line 66 inside of the modal, right?
Uh-huh.
And if you see on the body, so 46 to 52, right?
Yeah.
They say div style equals modal style and class name equals classes.paper, right?
Yeah.
So modal style is using something called, so if you follow the code up, it goes up and it gets modal style, which is a bunch of random stuff. So we're going to ignore the get modal style. So we're going to ignore modal style for now. We're going to get class name. That's the one we're interested in.
Yep.
Right? So they use something, they've got a hook called use styles. So if you scroll up,
yeah.
So we're basically going to implement that. So in our to-do, we need to do, we need to basically add that. So at the top, above our function, there you go. And here we need to basically, inside here we do const classes equals use styles. I think that's it. And then here, I think we have to import that. I don't know what the import was. What is it? So it's import.
They're asking where the code for this is going to be available. We'll try to make the code. We'll make the code available for this later. I think, like, aren't we going to have problems with sharing APIs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it cuts off after a certain time.
So what we'll do, guys, is we'll actually upload the code. I mean, how will we give it to them? That's the thing.
So what we'll do is we'll upload it in a public repo, but on the config part, all you'll need to do is set up a Firebase, set up Firebase yourself. And then on the config part, you just need to basically, where we got the key, so that config stuff, you just copy and paste your one inside of there.
So what we'll do is, after this video is done, in the description underneath the video, we will put the link to the code. And then you can go there. So if you're watching this right now as a replay, you can like in the description it'll be there, and then you can just like get the code from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
So at the top, I just imported make styles. Yep. So I just imported make styles at the top.
Yeah.
And then we use that in this line of code here.
Yeah.
And then, so that's a hook. And this is basically how you style things in Material UI, guys. So that's actually the documentation which has told us to do that. If we then save this and we run it, we should now have the styles that we saw. Roughly. I mean, it may be full screen, but it will roughly work. So we can edit. Okay, so I think maybe, 1 second. Is it saved correctly?
Let me see.
So I am a modal.
Save.
Let's see.
Go to app.js, save. Is there like anything else I have to save besides to do an app?
So, we didn't add the classes. So the actual modal has no class attached to it at the moment. So you see the body right now.
Yeah. Because you need to do classes.paper, right? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. There we go. Nice.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
That's clean.
Nice.
Okay.
Right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to hook up the actual logic for this. So right now the button's empty, guys, because we have no text in it. So if I say update, update to do, and this is going to be not a normal button, but a Material UI button. So we're going to say button. I'm going to import that from the top. Yeah, so we already imported that. So now we've got the Material UI button. But remember, guys, when we click update to do, we don't just want it to do this, right? We don't want to just close the modal. We actually want to execute an update function, right?
Yep.
So let's create a function, and we're going to call this update to do, right? And what this is going to do now is it's going to basically do this. So it will set the open to false. So it will do that. But we're also going to do a bunch of stuff here. So we're going to say update the to do. So update the to do.
Yep.
With the new input text, right?
Yep.
Which means that we also need the input text here. Right, we need an input field, right? We need some kind of input here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is, remember before what we done is we previously had, we needed to do, there was a few steps that we need to do to get this right. So if we scroll up to line 22, the first step was we prepare a piece of state. So remember it was input, set, input, set input, and then we basically start this off with a blank string, right? Then we go down to line 42, and we basically say the value is input. And remember what this did at this point was it locked the input.
Yeah, it did.
Remember, because it's constantly assigned to that blank value that we initialized it with, right?
Exactly, right.
Then what we need to do is do an on change. So every single time you type, it fires off an event. And then what we're doing is we're setting the input
to the event
to be the event
target.value.
Yes, exactly. Event.target.value. And now that piece of code is
complaining
going
about
to,
here?
I think that's just, it's bugging out, but it's not actually a bug. Like that should work.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets a little slow on like the linting. But there we go. So we have an event, and then what that's going to do is it's going to update the input. So now we have the input over here, right?
Yep.
Inside of the update to do function in line 31.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So we need access to our DB, which we've already done. We've already put it in. So we're going to say db.collection to-dos.
Yep.
Now, because we're inside of our to-do, we already have the ID passed through as a prop. So we're going to say to-do. Props dot to do dot id.
Yep.
Right. So that's how we did the delete before, right? And then before, remember, we did like a delete here, right? So the way you update things in Firestore is you say set, and you pass in whatever you want to pass in, but you have to include an option here. So afterwards, there's a second parameter here.
Yeah.
And it's and basically it's an option here. And what you need to say is merge true. Now, what this does here is it prevents you from overwriting what was already in there. Right. So say for
Oh.
example, if I was to write like a
So
one,
it
two,
won't.
three,
It's not gonna update the to do. It's not gonna remove the to do key. It's just gonna like add the key A, like append it
exactly,
essentially. Okay.
exactly. And then
Okay.
if it found a key that matched, it would update it.
Okay. So like for some
Yeah.
reason, if you wanted to add like a time, just you wanted to update the timestamp of it and not the to do. In this case, what it would do is like remove the to do. But then when
Yep.
you do merge true, then it will actually just append the timestamp to the to do.
Exactly. And that's a really good point you mentioned timestamp because here, when we update it, we naturally want it to pop to the top.
What happens? Another question is what happens if I see what you're saying. So you want to update the timestamp of the updated, right?
Yeah, but I think for now we'll leave it so we can see it in the
What
row
happens
that
if
it
you
was
use the
in, but then
same
we can do
key?
that afterwards.
So if you use the same key of to do, then it will just update the to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Because say, for example, I didn't have this and I used to do, it would do this, but then it will get rid of any other fields that are in there,
Uh-huh. Okay. So to do
which we
in
don't
this
want to
case
do,
would be
right?
what? Input.
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
And then what we need to do is, so that actually does it, right? So that's going to update the field, and then we've set, then we close the modal.
But
But
isn't
what
input
we want to
taking
do
the
here,
input? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
so, and I was just going to say one more thing is, the input initially, right? We actually want it, what we can do is because we already have the prop, which is the to-do text, right? We could actually do something like this. We could say props dot, actually, no, we'll leave that for now. We'll leave that for now. But what we could do is we could say input value. We'll try it. We can try it. What we could do is we could say props dot to do. I don't know if that will work, but we can see if it will. Like, we'll try it. Yeah. So what that's going to do is the initial value of the input would be the to-dos value,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Or actually, no, better yet, what we'll do instead, we'll leave this blank. We'll go down to our input on 947,
Uh-huh.
and we'll set the placeholder. We'll set a placeholder to be props.todo.
Yeah.
To do. And now what this will do is, so when we run the code, so if we save this and run it, this would be really nice now. So if we click edit, you see, it gave us the placeholder as the initial value, but
Nice.
then we click
Perfect.
update to do.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
good.
And then you see, okay, so that was interesting. So the reason why, but if you was to refresh now, so go
Yeah.
back to that. If you refresh,
Yeah.
so delete this thing, he's saying bad things. So it didn't actually do it as we wanted it to do. So did you click on, oh, okay. Yeah, we don't actually even fire off update to do. Oops.
Yeah.
So right now we just closed. So update to do, we need to connect to our code on 948.
Yep.
So
There we
that's
go.
why it wasn't firing off. Yeah, so we need to save that and then it should do it now. Yeah.
Ooh, clean.
All right.
Woo. Look at that. Nice. Okay, I like it.
And you can do the whole wrapping it in a form and everything like that to get the enter functionality.
Okay, got it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we
Crazy,
have-
right? So now
Yeah.
we have full CRUD functionality.
Yeah, essentially at this point we got full CRUD functionality, and basically what do we have? We have a full. I mean, actually, we can even write this down because I think it's nice to see it in writing. But essentially,
Yeah.
what we have done up until now is we have a Firebase, and this is also our database, right?
Yep.
The
So
app.
Firebase is our database and it's our hosting.
Yep. It's hosted online.
Yep.
Okay. What other things do we
Yep.
have? So it has what?
So we have
Full
Material
CRUD
UI.
functionality.
Yep. Material UI for the designs.
Material UI for the design.
Yep. We have So let's have a look. We have form controls. We have material UI for designs. So I think use React, and then React has a bunch of side like underneath points. So we actually used React hooks.
Okay, so under React, we can basically go.
So React hooks we used, yeah. Underneath underneath Firebase, we can have a real-time database. Yep, so real-time database. So, and the crazy thing is, guys, I don't think you understand, like, building a real-time database is actually harder than you think if you do it the traditional way. You have to have WebSockets, you have to have like usually you'd use something called socket.io.
Yeah.
And you would have to set up like a two-way sync between your back end and front end.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of maintain what's going on with that.
I mean, even
Whereas
right now,
here,
I feel like it's so hard for us. Even we're hosting our data warehouse on Redshift, right? And we're using what is Postgres. The database is on Postgres, and like I'm having so much trouble figuring out how to have a two-way sync so I can like update it from other places, and there's no easy way at all.
Yeah. Just so that for people who don't know, do you want to explain what Redshift is and what Postgres is?
Right. So Redshift is basically an Amazon Web Service. Amazon has, this is called Amazon Web Services. And they have something called Redshift. And this is essentially a Postgres database. When I say a database, just imagine a giant Excel sheet, like, that can hold, insane amount of data. Like, for example, when I try to upload like a 10 megabyte file to my Excel sheet or a Google sheet, it crashed. So when you need something bigger than that with more functionality, you're probably going to be looking for a real database, So Postgres allows you to have like petabytes of data. Walmart is hosted on Redshift.
Exactly.
So and then it allows you to do a lot of things like add things, delete things, edit things, the basic functionality that you would expect from a database.
Exactly. And just to mention there, Postgres is a SQL database. What we just used now is more closer to something called a NoSQL database.
Yeah.
But what Firestore did, right? So Firebase initially had something called the real-time database, and you guys might accidentally use this instead. That's a NoSQL database, which is essentially a JSON tree, right? It's just a massive JSON tree, whereas the SQL database has a lot of structure to it, right?
Yeah.
Firestore was sort of they realized that a NoSQL database wasn't as powerful as a SQL database.
Why is
that? So they built a custom,
Why is that? Why is a SQL database not as powerful, or a NoSQL database not as powerful as a SQL database?
So think about it this way: in a SQL database, because there's so much structure, right? You have tables, you have all of these things. You can perform quite complicated queries, and you can join tables, and you can do a bunch of indexing, right?
Yep.
Now, in a NoSQL database, because you essentially just have a JSON tree, there's no clear way to index or search, which makes searching for things really inefficient. So what they did, right, was they combined the two, and they basically came up with the, not really combined the two, but they enhanced a NoSQL database with this collection document approach, which allows you to have all of the benefits of NoSQL, but you can also have really complicated indexing. So you can search for things, you can do order by, you can do all of these things, and it works. And it's really powerful, because I actually used the NoSQL database before I used Firestore.
Got it. So if you try to join, you try to join the tables on like two different things and they don't exist, like because you know what I mean, like what happens there?
So there's a completely different architectural mindset when you think of a SQL database compared to like a NoSQL. In NoSQL, you are completely responsible for how you build it, right? A SQL database, you pretty much have, and also Chirag says, sir, I have one question. Yeah, shoot your questions, we'll answer them, no worries. So SQL database, you have very clear structure. You have primary keys in tables, you have foreign keys which link to other tables. There's a very clear definition of how things should be laid out, right? In NoSQL, there is no structure. There's literally a case of what is good practice, what is bad practice. So let's say in SQL databases, you do something called normalization, right?
Yeah.
Normalization is basically removing all of the repeated data, right? So you don't
Yeah.
want to have repeated data in a SQL database.
Yeah.
Um, However, when you have a NoSQL database,
Yeah.
it's actually weirdly good practice to sometimes have, let's say we had a collection of users,
Yeah.
right? And we had like users and their information inside of each document. Now, let's say we have the collection of messages, right?
Yeah.
In every single message, we could literally have the user's ID inside of the messages to correspond to the user, right? Now, you could also do it the other way. So inside of all of the users, you would have another collection with the message IDs. So at this point, you have two places where you've got repeated information.
Yeah.
But because of the way that a NoSQL database works, that works better. So
Really?
you see what I mean?
I see.
There's a much bigger architectural decision when you use a NoSQL database. But honestly, guys, when you're starting off, it's a case of you run into these problems naturally.
Right.
So it's not a thing that you need to really like kind of
Worry
go
about like
off
beforehand and
yeah.
everything. Okay, awesome. So what
Yeah.
what else is left for what we're doing right now?
So I guess like the styling of the app is something which we could mess around with, but otherwise functionality wise, I think we
Functionality.
have a complete built Firebase app,
Awesome.
a Firebase React app. It has full CRUD functionality, Material
Yeah.
UI. It's using the latest ES6 standards with React hooks.
Yep.
And it clearly demonstrates how easy it is to deploy, how easy it is to get it up and running. And guys, this is completely free. So if you want to have this and build this, I highly recommend you build it, add it to a personal portfolio, which is also hosted on Firebase. And then you pretty much have something to add to your CV, which you can use. And this is really impressive, guys. If you show up to a job interview with this, they will be impressed. They will be like, wow, because this is quite cutting edge stuff, right? Like Kazi, when I first sort of introduced you to Firebase and React, what was your initial reaction?
I was really, I mean, my initial reaction was like, I didn't want to learn React. I'm like, man, can we just do this with Python? And once I started getting into React and I started picking up things, it really blew my mind, especially just because once I learned about components and how they work, the development is so clean and then my apps are so fast. And then adding like the Firebase on top of it, I mean, and everything just happens in real time, that is freaking mind blowing.
Yeah, that's it. And once you really see that for the first time, especially once we deploy it and everyone's sort of using it, that's usually the sort of like wow moment that everyone sort of realizes. That's really where it clicks as to how powerful it is with so little code,
Abby
which is
says
amazing.
out of topic, but it's 4:30 in the morning. 4:30 in the morning where she is at, and she's like, I'm currently watching this, no regrets. That's
awesome. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
That's awesome. So guys, at this point, what I would say is like, look, the app is ready to build. You have an app that completely works. It's built with React, Firebase, is Material UI. You can improve it and you can build things on top of this if you want to. You can take it really to the next level. But I think we're gonna wrap up this tutorial, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this tutorial up, and what I recommend you guys do at this point is if you got value out of this and you thought that this was awesome, wait till you actually join the Profit with JavaScript course, because in that program, we go deep. Like you get all the 15 modules, you get all of the training. I mean, maybe I can even show it on the screen.
Yeah, that would be awesome, I think.
Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and share that with you guys. So this is the Profit with JavaScript course, you guys. You know, this 4th of July sale is coming to an end in 10 hours. So I would recommend you check that out. But, you know, go ahead, check this program out. Some of the things that makes it different from any other program is really like the fact that you have success coaches that are with you. So Sunny, like, can you tell me a little bit about the success coaches part?
Yeah, so success coaches are really where I personally feel like your development, your like progression as a developer excels, because a success coach is somebody who's going to give you one-to-one personalized video feedback for every single assignment you do, guys. So every single time you attend, let's say a live coaching call and we set some homework, when you submit that homework, it's not an automated system. It's actually somebody checking your code and giving you one-to-one personalized video feedback. And that's going to help you become such a better developer, because they're going to recommend what the latest standards are, what you did well, what could be improved. You're going to have all of that one-to-one sort of communication and feedback. And not only that, the energy between the success coaches in the community is amazing. So you constantly have an army of success coaches to ask for help, support. And not only that, guys, you have me, Kazi, Naz, all the coaches on the course to constantly just start a message. There's no like hierarchy. You can pretty much message anyone whenever you